Ladies and gentlemen, it is Halloween, and I am monetized. I am so happy to be monetized. All right. Whew, that feels good. Anyway, that's a fun little bit of news because, as you can see, Kellen, the official data here, one of, I think, my longest time viewers, thank you, Kellen, just became, I think, our channel's first official member. I have set this up in a better way than I did on Twitch. That better way is, you know what, I'll go into that when there's a few more people here as well, but the better way is that now there's two tiers. There is a $1 tier and a $5 tier. I cannot remember what percentage I get. I think it's like 70-30 split, but the point in doing that was that YouTube obviously shows ads over these videos. That is one way that the videos are monetized. I also know that you guys hated Twitch ads. So what I did is, since YouTube, if you get a channel subscription, there's no ads on that channel, at least I believe that's how it works, I have created a $1 tier, a $1 a month tier, so that you can watch completely ad-free for $1, and then, because I couldn't turn ads off on Twitch, you know, so there's a $1 tier, so you can watch ad-free. There's also a $5 tier, which gets you a couple more things. I'm going to be doing a members-only live stream once a month, stuff like that. I'll go over this again later in the stream in more detail. I'll show you how it all breaks down and all of that. But, yeah, so that's kind of where we're sitting right now. Also, how did the react screen? I feel like that used to be... Oh, right. I remember what happened. Now, give me 1 second, guys. Just a minute. Okay, that's too big.
Archie,
Ah!
I need you to try something.
Oh, boy. What's it gonna be?
I need you to try this hot chocolate.
Is it gonna hurt me?
No.
Is it gonna cause me problems?
No, this hot chocolate's just very thick and chocolatey, and I'd like you to try it.
Okay, give me 1 second. I just gotta make sure this is in the right spot on the screen. Oh, wait, right, that's how I was doing this. No, that's not how I was doing it. Yeah, this is what I wanted to do. Okay, cool, I'm good. All right, anyway, chocolate?
Yeah, I just want you to try it, because it's like really, it's like thick, like it's very thick.
That is some viscous chocolate. Something's off about it.
Tastes good though, right? Like it tastes good.
Something is off about it. You put oat milk in it, didn't you?
It's only oat milk. So now you can have half oat milk, half milk hot chocolate, and you won't know the difference.
Just don't tell me if you do it, and maybe I won't notice.
I won't. I wanted to prove to you that it's not that disgusting.
Okay, all right.
It's not disgusting.
I don't think oat milk is disgusting. I just
literally
personally am not a
told me
huge
you'd
fan.
break up with me if I tricked you into drinking oat milk.
If you tricked me into drinking oat milk.
Oat milk.
I don't know why I said milk.
Oat milk.
Listen, I've been having a rough day with pronunciation for some reason.
Milk.
I think it's the meds.
Olive oil.
Oh my god. Anyway. So yeah, that's I'll go over all of that in more detail later, how the channel membership versus the premium membership break down. We're probably going to also be bringing something similar over to the Lore Lodge channel, depending on how this works. But yeah, for today, however, what I have got set up, and I'm going to have a good time with this, I spent all of last week going through Irish traditions, other Celtic traditions, even some Germanic, some Norse, the Christian stuff. Where did all of this come from? Because I was asking the question for Friday's video, was Halloween originally pagan? And the answer you're going to get in the video is essentially yes and no, but we'll get there. So I wanted to try and just maybe have, for a fun one really quick, go through some of the videos on it. So we're going to be watching some videos about the origins of Halloween from both sides, really. So I would love to say, I would love to see like some really silly videos, but I wasn't able to find any without watching videos for hours. So we're going to see how this goes. Also, thank you, NC Squatch. And yeah, here we go. This one is how Halloween was taken over by Christianity
Halloween
and why
isn't
both
just
sides
about
want to cancel it.
costumes and candy. It's a holiday with roots in ancient myths, supernatural legends, and age-old
This guy talks slow. We're gonna up his playback speed to 1.25.
traditions. This blend of ancient pagan customs, Christian traditions, and modern commercial influences has made Halloween a fun but also controversial holiday.
All right,
Let's
so
take a look at the
far
origins
this is actually solid.
of Halloween and why some believe that they should.
And yes, these live streams could be a chance for somebody to get good publicity or bad publicity. It goes both ways.
Celebrate it. The origin of Halloween can be traced back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, which
Okay.
marked the end of harvest and the beginning of winter, which they associated with death. Traditionally, Samhain took place from sunset on October 31st to
He's
sunset
largely
on
correct
November
here.
1st, marking the division of the year between the lighter half and the darker half. The Celts believed that on this night, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred, and the ghosts
right.
of the deceased returned to Earth.
Okay. Here we go. This one's actually going really well. I am very impressed so far. Yes, the veil between our world and the other world was at its thinnest. Our world and ghosts, not so much. Let's see, what's he going through here? This is Halloween's pagan origins. Okay. Yeah. It was not the dead that were coming back. It was the Aeschi, who were the descendant. This gets really complicated, and I don't want to say anything with certain terms, but one of the general beliefs regarding the Aeschi is that they were the offspring of the Tua de Danann and the Tua de Danann, and the Tua de Danann were the gods of Ireland in the pre-Christian era. We think. We don't know for certain. I go into a lot more detail on that in the video. I tell the whole story. But yeah, this is, so it wouldn't so much be ghosts. It wouldn't be the spirits of the dead. It would be the other worlders. It would be the Fey folk.
To celebrate this day, the Celts...
So JD Petty, to answer that question really quick, yes, winter would, the beginning of winter would technically be in December if we go based on the position of the Earth on its axis. December 31st, or December 21st, the winter solstice, is the longest day of the year, or the shortest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere because of the Earth's tilt. It's the longest day of the year in the Southern Hemisphere. Words are hard today, guys. I haven't talked very much. But so, yes, going by the actual position of the Earth on its axis, yes, winter starts on December 1st. Going based on the ancient Celtic system of quarter days, November 1st would be the beginning of winter. Because it was the end of the harvest season. The beginning of the harvest season would have been in August.
would light large bonfires.
So membership should, yes, grant no ads. As far as I understand, if it does not, then here, let me just check really quick. Do YouTube does becoming a channel member on YouTube stop ads? Okay, it is just YouTube Premium, so that's annoying because I was under the impression, well, that's from 2021. My impression was that I can turn off ads by making you a channel member, but maybe I can't. That's irritating. I didn't know that. All right, I'll figure something out. So yeah, I guess there's really no point in having the $1 then. That's annoying. Let me see what I can do. But one option would be to not have ads on these live streams. If they become big enough, I can absolutely do that. But what I wanted to prevent was you guys having to see ads during the live streams. So what I can do is I can set them to be just every 30 minutes. And YouTube will actually do as I say, unlike Twitch. So now there should be an ad every 30 minutes, and I should know exactly when it happens. Which means that I can actually just stop. Or it might just bring you back into the stream right where you are. But yeah, they should be every 30 minutes, so the first ad you should get should be at 6:40. So obviously this is a new stream for this. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it said it made it so there were no ads on a channel, but I guess I'm wrong about that. It's just so irritating, guys. But anyway,
not just to keep themselves warm on the
spam the ad button when chat displeases you.
Chilly autumn night, but to also welcome the spirits traveling to Earth at this time. They would wear costumes, often resembling spirits or...
Hang on, I realized we were off track here. But anyway, yeah. So I guess it doesn't get rid of ads. I thought it did. Back to the content.
Dead became blurred, and the ghosts of the deceased returned to Earth. To celebrate
Wait, you already got it? Did you get the ad when joining the stream? You should only get ads when you join the stream every 30 minutes and then maybe when the stream ends. But yeah, it should just be ads every 30 minutes or at the very beginning of the stream.
this day, the Celts would light large bonfires, not just to keep themselves warm on the chilly autumn night, but to also welcome the spirits traveling
Exactly,
to Earth
we're
at
all
this
learning together.
time. They would wear costumes, often resembling spirits or supernatural,
So this is not true.
blurred, and the ghosts of
This is true.
the deceased returned to
This is not true.
Earth. To celebrate this day, the Celts would light large bonfires,
That is true.
not just to keep themselves warm on the chilly autumn night, but to also welcome the spirits traveling to Earth at this time.
Not really so much. Maybe. We're not totally sure what the function of the bonfires was. We know that they burnt offerings on them.
They would wear costumes,
That one is also one that we're not really sure of. What he's showing right here, I'm assuming is probably a Wiccan Samhain festival rather than a Celtic pagan Samhain festival. Yes, those are different. And the reason I say that is because this looks like it might be a pentagram, which would not have been a symbol used by the Celts.
often resembling spirits or
But also, as for the costumes, no, we have there's really nothing to go on aside from the fact that costuming was a tradition as early as the 1500s, but we don't have any evidence that they wore costumes at Samhain in ancient Ireland.
supernatural entities to blend in with the wandering spirits and possibly to confuse or ward off the evil spirits.
Okay, well, Red Knight, quick question. Did it come back in where I was, or did it come back in where I had left off? Because if it came back in where I was, cool, not a huge deal. If it came back in where if it came back in where I left off, cool, not a huge deal. If it came back in where I was, not great, and I'll probably turn ads off for the live streams and allow you guys to support entirely via memberships, and then turn ads on for the playbacks. So, let me know, though.
That would also find their way to the land of the
We do love our bonfires here in Pennsylvania.
wandering spirits and possibly to confuse or ward off the evil spirits. That would also find their way to the land of the
Yeah,
living.
I don't think that's... none of this sounds correct to me at this point.
Offerings of food and drinks were
It comes back where I was? Oh, no.
left outside homes to appease these spirits, and the Celts believed that the atmosphere was perfect for divination rituals where they could predict the future. With the Roman conquest of the Celtic territories, several Roman festivals were blended with the traditional Celtic celebration of Samhain. And as Christianity
What? No. The Romans never conquered Ireland. And there's very little evidence that Samhain was celebrated outside of Ireland. It might have been celebrated as something else. But, I mean, so Calangaeth is the Welsh alternative. And it has some pretty significant differences from Samhain. It's also unclear if it just absorbed Samhain. But because their other world is also slightly different. But yeah, so it would not be correct to say that the Romans celebrated Samhain, or rolled it into their traditions. Even if the Romans did roll something into their traditions from Celtic society, and they rolled a lot of Celtic stuff into Roman religion, but even if they had brought in the Gallic version of that or the Brythonic version of that, it would not have ended up as Samhain. It would have been something else.
spread through Europe and the Roman Empire, efforts were made to assimilate or modify pagan celebrations.
That is correct.
The decision to superimpose Christian festivals over pagan ones was a strategic move.
Okay,
Celebrations.
why is he using the Gallic Wars for this? That's not even Christian Rome. That's 400 years before Christian Rome.
The decision to superimpose Christian festivals over pagan ones was a strategic move. It aimed to make the transition to Christianity smoother for pagan communities because it allowed them to retain their celebratory customs while redirecting the focus towards Christian beliefs.
That's largely true.
In the case of Samhain, the church sought to replace a festival that was associated with the dead and supernatural elements with a Christian celebration that honored saints and martyrs.
So that's just completely false. He is entirely wrong about that. Samhain had nothing to do with the dead, as far as we know. People died on Samhain occasionally in some of the stories, but it was not a festival of the dead in Irish culture at all. There's really no evidence whatsoever for that.
In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III dedicated a chapel in St. Peter's Basilica to all the saints and martyrs, and picked November 1st as the date to commemorate the day.
So, no. That's not true either.
This became known as All Saints' Day or All Hallows' Day.
So what actually happened, yes, he did dedicate, I think it was Gregory that dedicated All Saints' Day. But All Saints' Day was not originally dedicated in the 9th century. Is that what he said it was?
As the date to commemorate in St. Peter's Basilica to all the saints and martyrs, and picked November 1st as the date to commemorate the day. This became known as All Saints' Day.
1 second to check on something. But yeah, let me see. Western Christianity history. Yeah, so right. All right, so it was the end of the 8th century, beginning of the 9th century, and what happened was that Gregory had actually been following a tradition. And was it Gregory? Was that the right one? I need to check on that. Yeah, it was Gregory the Fourth. So Gregory the Fourth designated November 1st as All Saints' Day. The thing is, prior to that, May 13th was All Saints' Day. Now, May 13th was not All Saints' Day, but it was a feast to be held in remembrance of all the saints and martyrs. So while it might not have been called All Saints' Day necessarily, it was the same celebration. At this point, it was moved to November 1st. And the reason it was moved to November 1st is something I go over in the video, but the short version is that Alcuin of Northumbria, who was a priest and a very important theological figure in Christianity, he suggested that it be moved to November 1st. And he suggested that to the king of Francia, Louis the Pious, who then suggested it to Pope Gregory IV. That's how it ended up on November 1st. But what he was suggesting was moving All Saints' Day from May 13th to November 1st. Or it could be that there was a conversation going on in the church at that time about establishing All Saints' Day as a formal church holiday rather than just a day of obligation. Making it a day of obligation essentially meant that it was a day you weren't allowed to work. It was kind of an extra Sabbath. Usually these were also days where you would be either, specifically allowed to eat certain things or not specifically allowed to eat certain things. What Gregory did was he standardized All Saints' Day as November 1st, and he did it at the urging of an English priest.
Day or All Hallows' Day. The evening before All Saints' Day, October 31st, began to be celebrated as All Hallows' Eve.
It is called All Hallows' Eve.
Over time, this hallowed evening became known as Halloween.
Also, just in case it wasn't clear, my point in that last little bit is that All Saints' Day has been practiced since probably around 313 AD, and it started in Syria, and it was on May 13th. It was celebrated on a few different days in the following few centuries, but by the 9th century, they were standardizing it to November 1st. But it began in May in Syria, not in November in Ireland. That was not where All Saints' Day came from.
Celebrations for All Hallows' Eve and All Saints' Day resembled the Celtic commemorations of Samhain.
They really don't.
Poor people would visit the houses of wealthier families and receive pastries called soul cakes in exchange for a promise to pray for the souls of the homeowner's dead relatives.
That is one iteration of souling.
Known as souling, the practice was later taken up by children, who would go from door to door asking for gifts such as food, money, and ale. In Scotland and Ireland, young people would take part in the ancient custom
All right.
known as guising, where they would wear festive attire
Why are you calling it ancient? That's where I'm stuck up here.
and gather gifts from different homes. Instead of promising prayers for the departed, they'd sing a song, recite poetry, tell a joke, or showcase some playful trick before they received their reward, which was usually fruits, nuts, or shiny coins. These practices traveled to America, where the holiday took a life.
Okay, so first of all, trick-or-treating, the souling aspect, that is original to Christianity. It probably did not start as a door-to-door thing. It probably started more as you buy soul cakes for people. It also wasn't just for prayers. It specifically had to do with purgatory. You were praying. The idea was that if you gave out a soul cake, then you were buying a soul out of purgatory. It also could manifest as you gave out a soul cake and somebody prayed for your soul or for the soul of somebody else to help them get out of purgatory. Like I said, lots of iterations. You have to remember that these things were going on for hundreds of years across pretty vast areas of land. And it's also important to remember that at certain, we have historical references to times when soldiers in armies could not understand each other because of dialect differences from the same country. So it's a little back and forth here. But yeah, no, the guising thing, we don't know when that originated. The earliest references that I could find were the 16th century.
Of its own. Today, Halloween is the second largest.
You got a third ad? All right. Give me 1 sec, because I'm pissed right now. These are set deliberately to be every 30 minutes. All right, give me 1 second to go into YouTube and edit the stream. I'm gonna hit delay ads. Okay, that only set the 10-minute timer. So instead, I'm gonna go to monetization, and I'm gonna say insert mid-roll ads manually. And we're gonna insert the mid-roll ads manually. So we get them when we want them. And that is what I will do. So is that cool with everybody? Are you guys cool with ads every half hour if I'm manually inserting them? Is that okay? Because again, I really don't want these to be bogged down with you guys constantly getting ads, you know? But let's see. There we go. So yeah, I have paused the ads. You should not get any. At all.
Just commercial holiday in the
So you can't see it on screen, but Inspiring Philosophy's 2.5-minute video is at the end of this playlist because he knows more than I do.
US, and over $3.1 billion is spent on candy.
I don't trust Esoterica as far as I can throw him, so we can take a look at it, but I'm probably going to say he's wrong. Esoterica Halloween. Is it this one? The short one? No. Is it a live stream? Because if there's a live stream, awesome. That's a lot. But I did see somebody shared this one, the Mysterious Origin of Halloween with Randall Carlson. Not sure why Randall Carlson was the choice there, because he's a geologist, I think, but either way.
Every Halloween. However, as with most things these days, Halloween has become somewhat controversial among various groups. Some Christian groups express discomfort with Halloween due to its origins in the pagan festival of Samhain.
Well, yeah, that's true.
They believe that celebrating Halloween can inadvertently glorify pagan practices or the occult. Also, the association of Halloween with witches, ghosts, demons, and other supernatural entities is problematic for some religious believers. They feel that such celebrations might trivialize or glamorize the dark and evil forces that they take seriously. There are also other issues with Halloween that many feel don't align with the direction the world is heading. For one thing, it's heavily commercialized, which fuels consumerism and takes away from the traditional meaning of the holiday. There are also health concerns, as the emphasis on sweets...
Doing programming homework while hearing a timing malfunction on the ads is pretty funny. Yeah. Well, it says, I don't think it's a programming function. I told Google what to do, and Google did not do it. Let's see. I had it. Yeah. You guys should not have been getting that many ads. That's so weird to me.
Especially in...
Was that? He's right here.
There is. Also, if someone was to theoretically, maybe, possibly, definitely not get you a necklace, would you want a 16-inch or an 18-inch chain/cord?
I think longer.
20?
It would probably need to be at least 20, yeah. Okay.
Definitely not getting or telling anyone to get you anything.
Okay.
Sheer curiosity.
Okay. All right.
Archibald's.
You
Sorry,
want-
I'm like.
It's okay. It's okay. You're all right.
I'm birthday planning
Society's
right now.
grappling with
It's okay.
issues of obesity and unhealthy eating habits isn't helpful. Issues about costumes have also been hitting the media every Halloween, with many being labeled as
What was that?
So far, we have 4 people other than us who responded. Plus Shimon.
Woo!
PJ and Nick. I don't
Yes.
remember the
I saw. It's Kate. Kate was one.
culturally insensitive. There are entire articles and polls listing the most offensive Halloween costumes, which
Yeah,
they say
that's
should
true.
be avoided. It seems vested parties on both sides of the aisle want to cancel Halloween these days, as these headlines highlight. Even with all the debates around Halloween,
Yeah, so this is getting more into the politics of it. But yeah, I mean, so he did a decent job, but he definitely got too much of his information from blogs and not from, the hell? From blogs and not from scholarly sources. What's our next one?
Celebrates wickedness, evil, and darkness.
Satanic activity and rituals.
Paganism!
People should not participate in any way, shape, or form.
I think the answer is no. No.
Christians aren't that keen on Halloween, and this always seems a little weird to me because I didn't actually think we were celebrating anything specific. Like, I just thought it was scary or something to do with pumpkin spice lattes. So where does that hatred actually come from?
That microphone needs to be closer to her
I want to
mouth.
delve into the history of Halloween because, spoiler alert, this is actually a Christian holiday.
Oh.
Okay, so Americans alone
All right, where's this going?
are spending between $8 and $10 billion each year on Halloween.
All right, does
On
she have...
average, and human sacrifices. But
All right.
and
I just want to get past the, like... The modern stuff, because we don't care about the modern stuff.
Halloween is a pagan holiday, and that... Okay, so the general consensus is, and another 23% say they avoid the pagan elements. Wait, pagan elements? Okay, so the general consensus is that Halloween is a pagan holiday, and that has everything to do with the celebration called Samhain.
This
go.
is the Celtic neo.
Why is Ostara on there? That's not even a real holiday, let alone a Celtic holiday. I've never heard of Mabon and Letha, but if Ostara, Estri, whatever, you know, whatever that was, if that was even real, it was not Celtic, it was Germanic.
Pagan calendar.
And Samhain falls right here, right on the 31st of October. The stories that we have of...
Technically, it does take place on November 1st. Right now, it is November. I meant to make a TikTok earlier, and I completely forgot to do it. Yeah, right now it is Samhain. It is, the sun has gone down. It is Samhain right now. It is November 1st in the Celtic tradition. So, October 31st for us is Halloween. It is November 1st today for the Celts.
Samhain described this day as one when the portals of the fairy realms
What was that?
would open and pagan gods would demand human.
What'd
The
you say?
stories that we
There
have
we go.
of Samhain describe this day as one when the portals of the fairy realms would open and pagan gods would demand human sacrifices.
Okay, so fairy mounds would open? Yes. Human sacrifices? Not necessarily. That's a maybe. We still aren't sure.
But the texts these stories come from were actually written between 700 and 1000 years after Christianity took over as the main religion of Europe. And they weren't even written by pagans. Instead, these stories come from Christian monks and historians who had some pretty good reasons to demonize the beliefs of
She's doing a good job here.
pagans. So can we really trust that these depictions of the holiday are true? Well, probably not, but Samhain does fall on the right date, so what do we know about it? Well, this date relates to the natural world. It marks a boundary in the year when the living world starts to rot. In agricultural societies, the end of summer would have been a time of abundance. Fresh fruit and veg were being
She does talk faster than the last guy, but it's still a little slow.
good supply, cheese, jam and beer would have already been made, and cattle would be coming in from the pastures to be slaughtered. Not only this, but people from all trades would stop their normal work and come together to bring in the harvest.
If I often get people commenting on our Lore Lodge videos that say like that I'm talking too fast, and I've always thought that's a little funny because if I were to talk as slow as a lot of other YouTubers do, our videos would be like 2.5 hours long. And that's not a dig at them. I just talk fast. And I can't imagine. It would be so painful for Aiden. He would have to sit there for such a long time.
So this was the perfect
Although I
time
guess he himself could also just speed things up. But yeah, I have trouble talking slowly enough. Maybe once I feel comfortable taking my ADD meds while I'm recording, I will do better.
And for a feast and for a party. But something would have been on everyone's mind.
You can if you want to, Pumpkin Bear.
Ancient times, winter was the stuff of nightmares. In the most northern parts of the world, the days would be short, and with only fire to light the evening, the nights would have been painfully boring. But what's worse is that winter was a killer. If the bitter northern cold didn't get you, then disease or starvation might. This would have been a time when fear about your own death was starting to creep in. And there's evidence to suggest that there may have been rituals of divination to predict if you might last out the winter.
So there were some suggested divination rituals, one of which involved setting building a bonfire, setting stones around it for each person in the family, and then or in the clan, the community, whatever. And then you would light the bonfire, and in the morning you would go and check on the stones, and if there was a stone, if all the stones were there, everybody would live out. If a person's stone was missing, it meant they wouldn't survive the winter. The thing is, that comes from the 19th century. We aren't sure if it is any older, and I could find no older stories of it.
That's basically all we can prove about Samhain. Historians and folklore scholars love to dig into the idea that Christianity took over paganism by sort of melding its beliefs with pre-Christian symbols and dates and even places. Like, a lot of Christian churches are built on sacred sites that belong to the non-Christians, and Christianity.
So this always makes me laugh,
paganism by sort of,
because a lot of this just has to do with like the way somebody stands.
Melding its beliefs.
Also, I've never seen that described. Is that's a depiction of Jesus? Hang on. Let's see. Search images with Google. Let's see. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Oh, it went fine. Okay, there we go. Oh, that is Christ. Interesting. It's a much later one than the one it's being compared to, though. But yeah, some of it just had to do with what the most like convenient pose for somebody to sit in while being sketched was.
Christian symbols and dates and even places. Like, a lot of Christian churches are built on sacred sites that belonged to non-Christian people. And that's what folklore scholars thought had happened with Halloween and Samhain. But recent evidence suggests that it might actually be the other way around. Okay, so I'm going to come back to that. But first, I want to show you why Halloween is actually a Christian.
I'm interested to see where she goes with this.
Holiday. Christianity in its Catholic form began to take hold in Europe in the 4th century, and the majority of pagan beliefs began to die off through both non and very violent means. As paganism waned, stories of pagan deities.
Hang on. Just looking through some of these. I do think Pariah. I do think it is the ADD. I honestly think it's that. I think people with it keep up with me, and I think people without it feel like I'm talking too fast. JD Petty said, question, she claimed the Christians writing about pagans would be willing to lie about things. However, other Christians were more than willing to preserve pagan writings. You will explain this to JD. So here's part of it is that Christianity is not a monolith, and not every Christian is the same. You had some monks who were more willing to look at these as legitimate histories or to preserve them in their original accounting. And then you had some who were more of the mind that, you know, these were either misunderstood Christian stories or they were demons, and so they had to be excised, and you know they had to be forgotten and nobody should know about them. It really depended on who we were working with. Certain people, Snorri Sturluson, for example, is a good one. We don't know to what extent he would have had access to older materials, but it seems that he tried to faithfully write all of it down. And then you have other stuff like you know, what's a good example? I mean, the Levergevalen Erin is possibly an example, but that might simply be just a simple lack of source material versus a deliberate Christianization effort. It is suggested by some of the authors that these entities are real, but they're actually this, you know?
Began to be replaced with new stories of Jesus, heaven and hell, and something else called purgatory. Purgatory was pretty neat because rather than just going to hell, you could spend time in purgatory to repent for your sins. And the best part of this was that your family could pray, and in some cases pay, for your sins to be reduced.
That is true. That was called an indulgence. the practice of, you know, you can pray for someone in purgatory, that might be original. The idea that you could pay for somebody's soul, no, completely false. That was an invention of medieval Catholicism. That was simply a way of making money for the church. It's pretty gross. I'm glad it's not a thing anymore. But yeah, there was this suggestion that, you know, you could just give a priest money and they would pray for the sins. And it's like, that's, if the priest accepts a bribe to pay, like, you know, does that really, do their prayers mean anything? You know, within Catholic theology being my point there, but.
And conveniently, the Catholic Church came up with a celebration where you could do exactly that. Hallowtide was made up of 3 days: All Hallows Eve, Hallows Day, and All Souls Day. And it was this final day where you could pray for the souls of your loved ones. And it was said that the veil between our world and the other world was thinnest on this final day. So essentially, your prayers would be more effective.
No. Okay, no. All Souls Day has nothing to do with the veil between worlds and your prayers being more effective on All Souls Day. It's that there was All Saints Day, and then people started celebrating all dead people on All Saints Day, and the church went, wait. No, this day is for the saints and the martyrs. For everyone else, you can have another day. How about that? So All Souls Day was added on to the tail of All Saints Day. It was not original to this, and All Saints Day was not selected because of any time or season. As we said before, All Saints Day originates to May 13th, which is actually close to Beltana. Beltana? I really struggle with Irish. Anyway, that one actually is in May, at the beginning of May. And that one also has to do with the veil between worlds being at its thinnest. So, yes, but the Syrians would have had nothing. The Syrian Christians would absolutely not have known that the Celts had this belief.
From this, where we get the idea that the spirits of the dead can be communed with. And this sparked other ideas, like the idea that these spirits might pass through to our world. Some might be good and bring messages from the afterlife, but some might terrorize us. And this probably led to other questions of, like, what else?
So no.
And it's from this was this Hallows Day and All Souls Day. And it was this final day where you could pray for the souls of your loved ones. And it was said that the veil between our world and the other world was thinnest on this final day. So essentially your prayers would be more effective. And it's from this where we get the idea that the spirits of the dead can be communed with. And this sparked other ideas, like
So no. The communing with, yeah, the connection to the other world is entirely from the Celtic tradition. All Souls Day, All Saints Day have nothing to do with communicating with the dead. It's praying for the dead. It's not communicating. It is praying for the souls who are in purgatory. Is primarily what you're doing here.
Like the idea that these spirits might pass through to our world. Some might be good and bring messages from the afterlife, but some might terrorize us. And this probably led to other questions of, like, what else might get through. So as far as ways of thinking about communing with the dead and ghosts and even the name of the holiday, this Catholic tradition...
No! Guys, she was doing so well. I was so proud of her. That's upsetting. Halloween does not come directly from All Hallows Eve. And maybe I'm being I'm being pedantic. It comes from All Hallows Even. Which is technically All Hallows Eve. I wish she'd included the little nugget that the reason it's Halloween instead of Hallowe'eve is because it came from Scotland, where in English, we have the word eve to mean the night before something. It obviously comes from the word evening. Or actually, evening might come from eve. Point is, All Hallows Evening, All Hallows Eve, in Scotland, you didn't shorten evening to eve. You shortened evening to even. All Hallows Even, Halloween. So yes, it comes from also All Hallows Eve. I'm being pedantic, I recognize that, but I do think it's a cool detail that she didn't include.
And ghosts and even the name of the holiday. This Catholic tradition seems to fit pretty well. So what's going on with Christians not wanting to celebrate the holiday? Well, that has everything to do with this guy, Martin Luther. And Luther
okay, I got
ways of
distracted.
thinking tradition, communing with the dead and ghosts as well. So what's going on with Christians not wanting to celebrate the holiday? Well, that has everything to do with this guy, Martin Luther. And Luther had a big problem with the Catholic Church.
Okay, that part, yes, absolutely. Yes, Luther did have a big problem with the Catholic Church. I'm interested to see where this goes, because I would not have said that this has to do with him.
To do with this guy, Martin Luther. And Luther had a big problem with the Catholic.
Also, isn't it like Martin Luther? What is it? Yeah, That's wild. Today is both Reformation Day and Halloween. Rough day for Catholics.
Church. He didn't think that God sent you to heaven for doing good deeds and elaborate rituals and giving lots of money to the church. Instead, he preached that all you needed was faith.
Ah, okay. Now I see where she's coming from. All right, yeah, that's correct.
And his ideas spread with the help of this little invention. This
to an extent. But yeah, the idea salvation by grace through faith alone is a Protestant concept. The Catholic side of things, they believe that works are also part of it. But the thing is with the Catholics, their opinion is that if you are a true Christian, if you are a believer in Christ, then doing good works will come naturally to you. You just will do good things for people. You will be a good person. A true Christian is a good person. Therefore, a true Christian does good works. That concept I get, and it kind of works within the Protestant framework as well. One of the parts that drove Luther to distance, to write the 95 Theses and to make a big deal of this was that it had been bastardized and turned into indulgences, and suddenly good works, well, you better be a good boy or you won't go to heaven, and being a good boy means doing what I say. Or you better give me money or your father's gonna languish in purgatory. Obviously, you give anyone power and eventually somebody's gonna abuse it. And a lot of Catholic priests and cardinals and bishops did, and that was part of what led a lot of other members of the church, the righteous ones, the good ones, using that in a very loose context, more related to the time period. But the Christians who were more concerned with preserving the faith over the church, they fought back against it. And to a large extent, that created Protestantism and led to a bunch of reforms within the Catholic Church to get rid of the nonsense. So the Catholic Church today is a lot better than it was in the Middle Ages when it comes to things like indulgences. They don't have the same system anymore. I still think that they're a little silly about certain stuff, but I have no problem with people being Catholic. I mean, do what you're going to do. I just have disagreements. But I don't see where this is going towards Halloween.
Inspires a movement called the Reformation, when Protestantism tries to take over as the main type of Christianity.
I wouldn't say that Protestantism tried to take over. That's not really what happened. It was kind of the opposite. Luther never intended to leave the Catholic Church. Luther's plan was to basically make such a big stink and be so public about it that the church had to do something. There had been a movement called the conciliatory movement in the 1400s, the early 1400s, where the Catholic Church basically invited people who were like Luther, obviously before Luther was alive, but people who were like him were invited to come and speak and be like, hey, here's what I think needs to change. The problem with that is that they promised a guy named Jan Hus safety, and they said, you can come, you can tell us what you think is wrong with how we're preaching, all of that, and then they murdered him. So that definitely put a bit of a damper on people being willing to say, hey, I think we should fix this.
Europe.
But more than anything, no, Protestantism was not an attempt to conquer or defeat or overrule the Catholic Church. It was an attempt to get away from what they saw as a corrupt institution in the Vatican, to basically take Christianity out of Rome and bring it back into the world.
And this is a super complicated
And again, how you feel about that as a Protestant or Catholic is up to you. I'm just telling you what the history is.
time of people changing sides from Catholicism to Protestantism, and there is a lot of bloodshed. But for our purposes, all we need to know is
one of the bloodiest wars in European history was fought over Catholicism and Protestantism, and it was the 30 Years' War, in which a bunch of Catholic countries fought a bunch of Protestant countries for 15 years, and then everybody started switching sides based on economics.
That Hallowtide was not liked by the Protestants.
Poof, and it's gone.
For 300 years, the tradition of Halloween dies out. But in parts of Scotland and Ireland, these traditions did live on, and they were...
Hello. So, I'm not particularly sure what she means, because souling was an English practice. Love you too. Souling was an English practice. It may have been practiced in other forms in Europe, but the door-to-door parishional souling practice was English, and from what I understand, it continued, albeit in, you know, slightly different forms. But you did continue to celebrate All Saints' Day. The Methodists celebrate All Saints' Day.
Whoa.
Also, it's important to recognize that when the Reformation happened, England did not convert. The English were still Catholic, the Scottish were still Catholic, the Irish were still Catholic. So I think this is the result of somebody kind of reading through some of the preliminary information. The Reformation happens in, I think, 1517, and then England converts to Protestantism later. When was that? When did the Anglicans start? 1534. Okay, so, you know, a decade and a half later, almost 2 decades later, England is still Catholic. England did not have a Protestant wave at the same time as Germany. What happened in England was that you did have versions of Protestantism starting to creep up. You had the Wycliffe brand, and then you had some other theological circles. But the important part to recognize is that their reason for transitioning away from Catholicism was vastly different from the Lutherans. I actually don't know. I should look this up really quick. Do Anglicans have purgatory? Seldom mentioned, but they do believe in a process of growth and development after death. So yeah, so purgatory in a sense does still remain within Anglicanism. So this is not why the tradition changed. It's just kind of a coincidence.
As traditions do, to include something fun, mischief. Now, trick-or-treating is one of the biggest parts of Halloween, and this also started as part of the Catholic holiday. Giving treats known as soul cakes to the poor became part of the celebration, and the poor would go from door to door to get them. This is known as mumming or guising. Often in return, the poor would sing songs as a reward for people's charity. Others started to pull pranks on the not-so-generous individuals, and these pranks became very popular, especially with boys and young men. And from this...
Okay, so yes, pranks did become a part of it. That was probably in the medieval period in Scotland. Scotland has a very prank-favorable culture. There is, for example, one very popular Scottish practice called the jinx. I talked about that in our video on the Bohemian Club. But, you know, jinx could be something about playing pranks. It could be more of a truth or dare kind of deal. But yeah, the Scots have always been pretty big on pranks, and the suggestion here is that at some point, the whole trick-or-treat thing developed out of, you know, oh, well, if you don't give us a treat, then we're going to do something. You know, and then it wouldn't be like they wouldn't burn your house down, but they might, you know, put your cow in somebody else's field. I don't know. Point is, it was probably a Scottish cultural development.
This.
Not necessarily related to Celtic paganism.
Called Mischief Night was born. By the way, these guises
or Catholicism
really shaped the visual culture of Halloween. They carry lanterns made of carved turnips and dress up with masks and costumes, and this might have been simply to provide more entertainment along with the songs. Some accounts even claim that's to hide the shame of begging for charity, but...
Can I just say bruh? No reason in particular. I mean, you can. There's no rule against saying bruh in chat.
Also, this conveniently helped people to get away with all these pranks without being identified.
Those images did all look AI generated, you're right. I had that thought, but I didn't want to sound silly.
So when the Irish and Scottish emigrate to Northern America in the Great Famine, Mischief Night really takes off. And the date moves around a bit on the calendar, but lots of boys and young men start organising these events and they really start to upset the locals. Some of these pranks are just like scaring people with spooky faces carved in turnips or burning cabbages outside people's doors so their houses smell bad. But other pranks get way out of hand.
There we go.
There are accounts of farmers' wagons and livestock appearing on barn roofs, boys waxing tram tracks so they crash into cars, and gangs of youths forcing trains to stop by tying fake people to the train tracks. In 1902, it got so bad.
I think those are AI generated images.
That a newspaper advised the public to load their muskets or cannon with rock and salt or birdshot and to shoot pranksters on sight.
Wow.
In 1907, that's exactly what happened when a trickster was shot dead after stretching a wire over a sidewalk to trip people up. But the people from communities where these mischief nights were happening knew that banning these events wouldn't stop them.
Nope.
So instead, they pooled their money to give out costumes and treats. By the 1950s, trick-or-treating becomes a huge part of America.
I'm pretty sure that's not true. I'm almost positive that is not true. I do not believe those two practices were remotely connected.
American culture. So we see where the beliefs and traditions come from, and they look really Christian. But why is it that people are mixing things up with paganism? Like, when I started this research, I really wanted it to be a pagan holiday. I mean, I love Nordic gods and Greek myths and fairies and Egyptology. Like, that's all the good stuff I was brought up on. It's the stuff that got me interested in history and the way we think. And there's Samhain, right? Look at it. It's right there on the calendar. Well, the fact that I wanted it to be pagan, and maybe even you do too, might have everything to do with why we think it's pagan. Okay. So let's go back to the Industrial Revolution for a second. We're going to spend a lot of time thinking about the Industrial Revolution on this channel, because during the Industrial Revolution, the way people saw the world really started to change. And that was especially true for nature. In the late 18th and early 19th century, people started to move away from agricultural living and move to the cities. And the grime and the grit of these places got them a little sentimental over nature. You see, back in the ancient world, nature was all powerful. It determined feast and famine and life and death and pain and joy. This is why banishment was such a horrible punishment. It meant you were thrown out of the safe little nest of the human world into the clutches of nature. And that's why...
That's not really why banishment was such a big issue. It was more that you didn't have the protection of anybody's laws. Also, Magnus the... I can't see your full name. It doesn't show up in Streamlabs. Hang on. Magnus the Red said, just wanted to send a little thank you. You and Wendigoon have been instrumental in helping me find my way back to the faith. Love the Weird Bible BTW. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Hopefully Weird Bible will be back soon. I think Isaiah is just super busy.
Pagan beliefs centered around stories of encounters with deified aspects of nature, both good and evil. But when nature started to be tamed by industry and science and missed by those who were forced to move to the city, the perception of nature changed dramatically. It started to be thought of as the sublime, and that means something. No, not really. Okay. Something that inspires awe. The word sublime starts feeding into art and literature, especially that of the Romantics, and the Romantics bring ideal versions of pagan deities into their work to represent these new ideas of nature. Also, at the time there was this trend of historians heading out into the countryside and collecting folk stories, as well as archaeologists investigating ancient cultures. And this all came together to inspire a cultural obsession with paganism. But Christian groups feared that paganism actually might take hold. And that's not actually for no reason. There are neo-pagan groups.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not a historian of the early modern period, so I have a hard time discerning here. I found none of this in my research, though.
Popping up like the Wiccans. And so the Christians start to denounce paganism again. The stories of the Wicker Man, for instance, come about in the late 18th century, which is part of this fear of neo-paganism. But the Industrial Revolution also changes the way we think about fear, too.
Also, the Wicker Man thing, we're really not sure if the people were dead or alive when they went in. It's most likely they would have already been dead. There's really no reason. It would have been a lot harder to keep a whole bunch of those people inside of a giant man. If they were alive, and whether they were even necessarily human sacrifices is also up for debate. If they were already dead, or if they were criminals, if they were prisoners of war, you know, it's hard to determine exactly what was going on. But we don't have a ton of reasons to believe that the ancient Celts sacrificed their own people to the gods, at least from their own tribe or clan. It's possible they did. We just don't really know for sure. There's so little information on it.
As places modernized, they got safer, and suddenly the desire to be scared grew. This is the time when people started to collect oddities, learn about the occult, visit haunted inns, and also when Salem, the place where the famous American witch trials were held, starts to find itself with an influx of visitors. So when these already popular pagan stories are promoted as something scary by the church, they actually get more popular.
So the Wicker Man is God, this has been such a long time. I don't want the movie. I want the I want to find that's the folk horror film. Okay, here we go. Where is it? Okay, the main evidence for this practice is a sentence by Roman general Julius Caesar in his commentary on the Gallic War, which modern scholarship is linked to an earlier Greek writer, Posidonius. I'm trying to remember what his exact sentence was. All right. Only the Roman, while other Roman writers of the time described human and animal sacrifice among the Celts, only the Roman general Julius Caesar and the Greek geographer Strabo mentioned the Wicker Man as one of the many ways the Druids of Gaul performed sacrifices. Caesar wrote in his commentary on the Gallic War that a large wickerwork figure with limbs was filled with living men and set on fire. He says that criminals were the preferred victims, but that innocent people might also be burned if there were no criminals. Writing slightly later, Strabo says in his Geographica that men and animals were burned in a large figure of wood and straw, though he does not make clear whether the victims were burned alive. Also in the 1st century BC, Greek historian Diodorus Siculus wrote in the Bibliotheca Historica that the Celts sacrificed human and animal captives by burning them on huge pyres along with the first fruits. It has been suggested that both Diodorus and Strabo got their information from the earlier Greek historian Posidonius, whose work has not survived. There we go. So, human sacrifices probably only of people who... It's likely they did not sacrifice innocent people by choice, and we don't know if they sacrificed innocent people at all. We also don't know that they actually sacrificed people. It's kind of an issue of the Romans and Greeks say they did, but we don't have much from the Celts themselves. It could be a history is written by the victor situation. Alternatively, it could just be that, yeah, they did, and the Romans just stopped doing it before them. Ovid, I think it is, claims that the Romans never practiced human sacrifice, but there was a festival called Lemuria that he talked about where they would throw stickmen. They'd make little stickmen, and they would throw them into the Tiber. And it's believed that this might be that he might have, by the time he was writing about it, the origins were so far beyond what anybody remembered that the holiday didn't even really make sense to the people celebrating it. They were just doing it because it was tradition. It's been suggested that maybe this was because the Romans did sacrifice people, but they just did it a long time back, like thousands of years from now. And the Celts may have just been continuing to do it longer. So again, it's really not a clear thing either way, but it's not associated with Samhain.
And as they do, they start to be associated with Halloween, a Catholic night where souls can come back from the dead to create one of the strangest and scariest holidays on the secular calendar. Okay, so Halloween is thick with folklore and traditions, and I will definitely be returning.
There we go. 8 reasons why Halloween is dangerous to celebrate by Pastor Vlad. Here we go. This is what I was waiting for.
Why you should not celebrate Halloween. Reason number 1 is the origins of Halloween are pagan. And I know you may say, well, so is the origin of Christmas. So is the origin of Easter. So is the origin of the Sunday, the god of the sun. Monday is the god of the moon, and all of the days that we get. And while I do believe that beginnings of things are not everything, but they do matter.
1.11 million subscribers. Okay. I don't have to be gentle with this guy.
The origin of things do matter. The Bible says that if the root is holy, so
first of all,
the God of the sun, Monday is the God of the moon, and all of the days that we get. And while I do believe that beginnings of things are not everything, but they do matter.
So he wasn't even right about that.
The origin of things do matter. The Bible says that if the root is holy, so are the branches, in Romans chapter 11, verse 16. Now, the origin of Halloween, as we know it today, it's actually a pagan religious festival.
It's not.
That started in Celtic traditions.
Celtic.
It was celebrated from October 31st till November 1st.
No, it was celebrated on November 1st, in their tradition.
When the tradition originated, it was believed that at that time, there was a veil between the spiritual world and the natural world, and this veil got so thin. And people who celebrated this, they believed that the spirits of the dead could actually come from the spirit.
I'll take a look at it, Pumpkin Bear. I have a cue.
World into this world, and so they would dress up so that these evil spirits will not harass them, and they would actually act like these evil spirits, so that dead spirits
we don't know
and
that.
evil spirits will not actually attack them.
We don't have evidence of that.
They're just one of them. And then they would set up food to appease these evil spirits from creating chaos and creating problems in their neighborhoods. And a lot of that tradition, unfortunately, still continues. That's why I believe that we should pay attention to...
Oh, God, Pumpkin Bear, are you trying to give me an aneurysm? You want me to watch BuzzFeed? I'll get it queued.
Because a lot of the practices of this original pagan holiday are still being practiced today. The second reason why you shouldn't celebrate Halloween is that Halloween is more than about candy and customs to those who are in witchcraft.
Ah, well, if you're talking about the Wiccans, they don't know what they're talking about.
So we're not just talking about right now those who participate in Halloween, but to people who are in Wicca.
Wiccan Samhain is not Celtic Samhain.
In Satan.
Archie's going nuts behind me right now. It's a whole madhouse in here. All right, that's enough from you. You two, stop influencing the children.
Satanism, people who are in witchcraft, to them, this holiday means way more than candy, customs, and dressing up. In fact, the founder of the Satanic Bible and the founder of the Church of Satan says,
ah, yes, Anton LaVey. What is Anton LaVey, chat? I need a chain of what Anton LaVey is. And you all know.
Two major holidays, Halloween and another
oh no, that was Ella.
Holiday that they celebrate in the Church of Satan. And he said this, I am glad that Christian parents let their children worship the devil at least one night out of the year. Wiccans, they...
Also, LaVey was... I don't think LaVey was a theistic Satanist. I can't totally recall. But yeah, just yeesh.
They celebrate 8 holidays, but the most important holiday
what?
out of the year. Wiccans, they celebrate 8 holidays, but the most important holiday is Halloween. It actually begins their year.
Well, no, it would be Samhain, and the fact that the Wiccans are celebrating 8 holidays instead of 4 shows that they aren't Celtic pagans.
If you watch the testimony of John Ramirez, who was a former high-ranking satanic priest, he got married on Halloween, and he claims that it's a big deal in Satanism and in...
Oh my... Dude, all Satanism is an attempt to try and screw with Christians. That's all it is. Like, LaVey was not a... Ugh. It's a mockery of religion. It is not a religion in and of itself. There are theistic Satanists, but the Church of Satan is not theistic Satanism.
Witchcraft to practice Halloween. We had a girl that got saved in our ministry, and she was a Satanist for over 10 years. She was dedicated to Satan. Her parents were Satanists. And when she came to our school, our internship, and we asked her during Halloween...
let me just check really quick. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think Anton LaVey was a theistic Satanist, and I don't think the Church of Satan is the theistic Satanists. Oh, wow, maybe I was wrong about that. I could swear the Church of Satan was the one that was not actually Satanist. Oh, yeah, members do not believe that Satan literally exists and do not worship him. Here we go. That's what I thought. Yeah, so, like, dude, discernment. Recognize when you're being screwed with. Too many Christians have this problem where, like, people will do stuff deliberately to screw with us, and we'll fall for it, and we'll bite, and we'll think they're serious, and they make us look silly because they were never serious in the first place. So they're not tied to any real argument. They'll just string you along until you end up in a place. And obviously not all of you are Christian, but that's, a criticism of my own group.
In fact, she would get still, like, very scared during Halloween time because of what it represented to her for so many years.
Okay, so what Anton LaVey is, based on chat's responses, was a massive weenie, a con man, a loser, cringe. Was he Jewish? A goofball, the biggest of weenies, a knucklehead, a talking tuba. Was he Jewish? I don't think he was. Early life. If they were, I would be very surprised if the name LaVey came from Judaism. Yeah, no, Georgian father and Ukrainian mother. I didn't think he was Jewish.
Every year, millions of
years she lived and in Satanism, and that was the time from around 10, 11 o'clock. This is when things just got weird for her. And so even when she became a Christian, we had to renew her mind and really just keep her in prayer.
So this woman was not a Church of Satan Satanist. You don't, like, he's now mixing things up.
So that she doesn't, fall prey to those fears. But for satanic witchcraft people, Halloween is not about candies. It's not about customs. This is their Easter, Christmas put together. It's a big deal for them. And that's why I don't think we should celebrate. Third reason is that Halloween has not been redeemed for God. It's actually darker today than it was 50 years ago. Now, the church from its earliest history has invited its people to celebrate this season, this pagan holiday, differently. And a lot of times what they did is actually they moved their All Saints festival to honor the people who died to be celebrated on November 1st and all of this stuff. So the church tried to...
It's okay, Unreal Broly. I figured it... Don't worry about it.
To redeem, and sometimes it worked. They tried to redeem certain pagan holidays, like we see that it happened with Christmas. I don't think it worked with Halloween. The reason why is because go in the mall today, go in the stores today. It's more and more dark. It has more death and fear, not less. I don't think we're changing it or redeeming it. I think it's changing our culture. Paganism and witchcraft is on the rise, not on decline in the culture.
Oh my God.
I believe there are certain things, you just can't redeem them. You have to remove them. When Israel went to the promised land, there were many things that Israel redeemed. There were wells and cities that God let him possess and pretty much repackage for his purposes. But there were many things God says, don't redeem it, burn it, destroy it. In Leviticus 18 verse 3, it says, according to the doings of the land of Egypt where you dwelt, you shall not do. And according to the doings of the land of Canaan where I'm bringing you, you shall not do, nor shall you walk in their ordinances. God instructed that.
Bro, stop taking verse for verse. Give the entire context. What's next?
That I believe you shouldn't celebrate Halloween is it's conforming to the culture.
Maybe I want to conform to the culture.
The world will think we are weird because we don't know how to have fun. Now, as the church, we are not to be known for our fun. We are to be known for our love. And as
I don't think that's really anybody's concern with Halloween. There are plenty of religions that also don't have Halloween and celebrate it anyway because it's a fun cultural holiday. You could celebrate both Halloween as just a secular harvest festival where you get together with friends and celebrate the fact that, it's that time of year like we do on Thanksgiving, you idiot. Yeah. There's two different ones here. There's you got Halloween, which is the candy and the costumes and the parties and the bobbing for apples and the hay rides and the spooky stuff and all of that. And then you've got All Saints Day and All Souls Day, which are actual Christian holidays. And then you've got Samhain. If a Christian is celebrating Halloween, which is not religious in observance, it's religious in origin, they're not doing anything wrong, the same as you're not doing anything wrong by celebrating Thanksgiving. If you are to celebrate both All Saints Day and Samhain, Now you're starting to get into some weirdness.
The church, our greatest view is not to be viewed by the world as good. In fact, the world doesn't think we are good because Christianity is offensive. We believe in a Jewish man that died on a cross who is God. We believe that we cannot be saved by good works, and that's contrary to the culture. And so our desire is not offensive. We believe in a Jewish man that died on a cross who is God. We believe that we cannot be saved by good works, and that's contrary to the culture. And so our desire is not to be conformed to the culture. Scripture is very clear to be transformed by the renewing of our mind.
Yeah, but it doesn't say you can't have fun. Like, on Halloween, I'm not going out. I'm not going to go out tonight after this stream and praise Satan. I might not even go out tonight after this stream. I thought about going and seeing and maybe having, like, a drink with whoever's out, but maybe not. I don't really care. Anyway, either way, you're not banned from having fun by the Bible.
The Bible says in Galatians chapter 6, verse 14, that I boast in nothing except the cross of Jesus, by whom the world has been crucified to me and I to the world. We are called to change the world, not to conform to the world. Daniel did not bow to the idols of Babylon to fit into the Babylon. We are called to engage the culture, but we're not encouraged to.
Yeah, but nobody's telling me I have to celebrate Halloween or I have to worship any sort of deity. All I'm doing on Halloween is dressing up in a costume and having some fall-themed drinks with my friends.
Imitate it. The church, like I've said, should be known by their love, not by their fun. The church should be a hospital, not an entertaining arena. And so to try to...
Yeah, the church should be a hospital. Yes, the church does... The word used in the Bible is probably oikumene and what he's talking about. He's not really citing scripture at the moment, but yeah, no, the church... The church is your spiritual life. The church is your community. The church is how you connect with God. But the church is not the world, and the world is not the church. You don't have to be... There is no place where you have to be entirely, separate. You're not supposed to separate yourself from the culture. It's the opposite is actually said, that you're supposed to judge Christians more heavily based on how they behave, but you're not supposed to judge people who are non-Christian as heavily because they are not of your... They're not saved. They don't know. They don't know any better. You are supposed to try and, offer them the correction. But you're not banned from eating with them. You're not banned from sitting with them. You're not banned from working with them. You're not banned from trading with them. You're not banned from anything regarding them. The only thing you're really banned from doing is communing with them in a holy setting. They're not allowed to come to church. And take communion if they're not Christian. You're not supposed to involve your spiritual life with theirs.
Redeem Halloween when it seems to not be working.
But you're also not supposed to hold them to Christian standards.
It's better that we go to the original assignment God has given us, and that is to win the world, to preach the gospel of the good news, to be the light and to be the salt, and not to fit in, but to stand out and to seek to influence our culture for the cause of Christ. Fifth reason why Christians should not celebrate Halloween is that Halloween promotes values that are contrary to the Christian faith.
Here's the most replayed section.
Having fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness.
Oh boy.
In Ephesians chapter 5 verses 8 through 11, Paul tells us that for once you were
I love this. I love how he is... This was origin of pagan is the origin of Halloween is pagan. Let's go through his points. The origin of Halloween is pagan. Wrong. It's both pagan and Christian and secular. Halloween is significant for those in witchcraft. Wrong. There are Wiccans and Satanists who believe Halloween is special for the wrong reasons. It was important to the ancient Celts. Now, if the reason that as a witch, whether you're meaning Wiccan, Levian, or just any other kind of witchcraft, the reason that Halloween might be a big deal for you would be because of the veil being thinner. It would not be, because of Satan. It would be because the veil between our world and the other world of the two a day, that is thinner at that time of year. Technically, yeah, it would be significant to those in witchcraft, but not in the way he described it. It's more that it was because of the interaction between the two worlds. So yeah, it's significant in witchcraft, but not for the reason he really said. And only in Celtic witchcraft. Halloween has not been redeemed by God. Well, neither was Christmas. There's not a single order to celebrate a holiday that I can think of in the New Testament, and nowhere that says you can't celebrate anything in the New Testament, just that you can't worship idols. What else do we have? It's conforming to the culture. That is not the criticism he gave here was also theologically wrong. Christians are not called to excise ourselves from culture and to change the outside culture. We're excised to spread the good word and allow people to change, and culture therefore will change as a result. He's got it completely backwards. Let's see. What is Halloween promotes values contrary to Christianity? What do we have?
Values that are contrary to the Christian faith. Values like darkness, values like
What do you mean darkness is valued by Halloween, Vlad?
death.
Okay, well, guess who brought death into Halloween? Christians, with All Saints Day.
And values like fear.
I wouldn't say that fear is not a Christian value necessarily.
On the Halloween, you don't see people decorating their front yard with virtues of light and life and eternal life, but graveyards, skeletons, spiders.
Yes, Vlad. Where in the Bible does it say that that spiders are darkness or pumpkins?
And just things that are gory, scary, and dark. As Christians, we don't celebrate fear, we celebrate faith. We're believers. We belong to the household of faith. We have the word of faith. We have the gift of faith. We have the fruit of faith. And we're called to live a life of faith. Fear is not our portion. As Christians, we are people.
What is he talking about? Does he actually cite anything?
And when do people value beyond Halloween? Yes, the Bible doesn't say that.
Abstain from every form of evil. Oh my God, this guy is a quack. There's taking things out of context, and then there's this. What do you say? What do you say? It was 1 Thessalonians 5:22, right? Let's pull up the NKJV because that's what he has. 1 Thessalonians 5:22. Let's see. But concerning the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I should write you, for you yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so comes as a thief in the night. For when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them, as labor pains upon a pregnant woman, and they shall not escape. But you, brethren, are not in darkness, so that this day shall overtake you as a thief. This is not about what he's saying. The day of the Lord. This is not a simple darkness bad. This is a specific letter at a specific time to the Thessalonians. It's been a while since I read it and took notes, so I'm not going to try and remind myself what the entire book is about right now. But, I mean, various exhortations, and we urge you, brethren, to recognize those who labor among you and are over you in the Lord and admonish you, and to esteem them very highly in love for their work's sake. Be at peace among yourselves. This is basically saying the priests, the church leaders, all of that you may feel as though you're being, berated, but you're to respect them because they're trying to help you. Let's see. Now we exhort you, brethren, warn those who are unruly, comfort the faint-hearted, uphold the weak, and be patient with all. See that no one renders evil for evil to anyone, but always pursue what is good both for yourselves and for all. Rejoice always, pray without ceasing, and in everything give thanks, for this is the will of Jesus Christ for you. Do not quench the spirit, do not despise prophecies, test all things, hold fast what is good, and abstain from every form of evil. This is wildly out of context.
Abstain from every form of evil. Yes, the Bible doesn't say that don't celebrate Halloween, but it's pretty clear.
Yes. Explain to me how Halloween is evil using facts, not stuff you made up 5 minutes ago, Vlad.
Abstain from every form of evil. And I don't see any good in Halloween.
All right. Let's see. What's a now we're going to do the BuzzFeed Unsolved one that Pumpkin Bear sent. And then we'll head over into 10 reasons why you should never celebrate Halloween. Seems very similar to this. I'll take a look through it, but I have a couple of other ones here as well. So, and if this starts to get repetitive, we'll switch over.
We spill in the streets, dressed as fairies, goblins, characters from their favorite movie franchise, and everything in between, partying and making mischief. But outside of a good time, how many know why they do it? Today, Halloween is a billion-dollar industry. But exactly how did it get there?
All right.
While today Halloween is synonymous with commercialism,
This guy has me feeling like I'm having to sit through a lecture at a Kingdom Hall on a Thursday night.
it wasn't always that way. The word Halloween
He's a good boy.
comes from the words hollow, meaning holy person, and
Did he say hollow?
always that way. The word Halloween comes from the words hollow, meaning
Whoa.
Archie, buddy, is he okay?
Yeah, he just jumped.
Yeah, is he all right?
He's okay.
He looks a little. Hey, bub.
Scary.
Hey, come here, buddy. Archie, come here, Bubba. He looks like he's all right though.
He's fine. He just jumped and it was scary.
Okay. It's okay, buddy.
I was trying to put him down and he went for me.
Yes. Why don't you come say hi to the stream? Huh? You want to come say hi to the people?
I'm sorry, Bubba.
He's fine. He'll be all right.
I know, I just feel bad, even though it's not my fault. He jumped and I don't like when they jump out of my hands.
Aw. It's okay. He's okay. He's okay. He's all right. There we go. That's a good boy. Okay. Oh, good dog. Good doggy.
I'm sorry, Archie. I didn't mean to do that, but you did it to yourself. He did.
I know. Just look at him.
But I'm still saying sorry for his benefit.
I just wanted to show him to the stream.
Everyone, the stream should definitely see Archie Balls.
Oh, he's great. He's an amazing creature.
Oh yeah, it's true. He is the boy.
All right. Here.
He's the good boy. Come
I'll
here,
set you
Archie.
down, all right,
I
Bubba?
want him.
Well, I kind of wanted to let him decide if he was ready to be picked up yet.
No, I don't want. I just want to stay here, Archie. Archie, come here.
He's running away.
Archie, no. Archie,
Now Amanda's under the desk and Archie's behind me.
Archie, come back.
He's over there.
Archie, come back.
Can I get back to my stream, please?
No.
I'm trying to work.
No, can you let me out?
You said no, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll. Oh my god. Oh my god. All right. There we go.
holy person, and Een, deriving as a contraction of Eve. And
I mean, technically, yeah.
Hallows Eve finds its origins all the way back in the time of the ancient Celtic pagans with the holiday of Samhain, a 3-day fire
Again, we don't know how old Samhain is.
festival that essentially celebrated death and rebirth.
Wait, what?
With the holiday of Samhain, a 3-day fire
Did they research this at all? Samhain was not 3 days long.
festival that essentially celebrated
This is why I hate BuzzFeed.
death and rebirth.
It didn't celebrate death and rebirth.
The Celts, who lived in what is
This video has been viewed 1 million times, guys. It's 54 seconds in, and he's gotten 3 major things wrong about this holiday.
now Ireland, Scotland, the UK, and parts of Northern Europe, based their Celts, who lived a 3-day fire festival that essentially celebrated death and rebirth. The Celts, who lived in what is now Ireland, Scotland.
Why does he have Northern Ireland only highlighted on this map?
The UK and parts of Northern Europe base their calendar on the Wheel of a Year.
That's the Wiccan calendar, not the... Samhain is not October 31st. First of all, that's wrong. This is the Wiccan calendar, not the Celtic pagan calendar. Like, Yule, Astara, these are not... These are Germanic, if this one exists at all. I don't know about Mabon and whatever the other one was, but my point is, BuzzFeed does no research on anything. They look up a they Google something, they pull it from the first article they see, and then they recite it and they make money. It's disgusting.
Essentially divided into two halves, the light and the dark. When one gave way to the other, this transition was marked by a fire festival.
Okay, so yes, it is the transition between the light half of the year and the dark half of the year, but I mean, I'm not sure that calling it a fire festival is necessarily the right way to describe it, but it's not entirely wrong.
The word Samhain translates into modern Irish to summer's end.
I'm actually not sure that that's true, but it could be. It doesn't really matter. I mean, here, we can look it up really quick. I mean, if it's not, then it would be really funny. Samhain. Etymology. Let's see. Where is the etymology? There it is. Okay, the Gaelic names for the month of November are derived from Samhain. All come from Old and Middle Irish. The name for the festival held on the 1st of November in medieval Ireland, which has been traditionally derived from the Proto-Indo-European Semo. However, notes it is unclear why a festival marking the beginning of winter should include the word summer. Contends that it's unrelated, saying Celtic summer ended in August. Derive it from Simone, meaning assembly or reunion, which would mean a hell of a lot more sense. But Summer's End is like, I see, yeah, but did you not think about it?
Samhain celebrated the dead. And
no, it did not. It did not celebrate the dead. That is wrong.
Particularly, the celebratory feast paid homage to loved ones who had passed away recently.
That's not true at all.
Essentially, as an invitation.
Now, might they have offered stuff up for loved ones who died recently? Sure, that's possible. But it was not a festival of the dead.
For their spirits to rejoin the living. Many of Samhain's
that seems to come from one specific scholar by the name of James Fraser, who did not actually, who said that this is, who basically, his entire thing while writing about this was like, it's possible that this is what happened, but we don't know. Like, it's possible that they used this. It's possible. We're going based off of what we know, and he is speaking far too much in certain terms.
Original rituals have been lost, but what we do know of their holiday traditions from Celtic folklore and ancient Roman historians is that they were intended to connect them to spirits, including costumes, most likely
Nope, the Romans did not mention costumes at Samhain.
Animal or furs to help them hide from the unfriendly ones.
In fact, the Romans didn't even mention Samhain because the Romans never actually conquered Ireland. They may have gone there. A couple of Romans, I think there was a brief Roman expedition to Ireland. If I'm not mistaken, there was a brief time where somebody went there. Let's see. Commercial, cultural, religious, military. Some evidence of a possible exploratory expedition. Yeah. So they did not conquer it. And they did not integrate it with their beliefs.
Feasting and making lanterns from hollowed out gourds.
They did not make lanterns from hollowed out gourds as far as we know either.
Seemingly
that
birth of the modern pumpkin jack-o'-lantern. Sacrifices, generally of crops or animals, were made during this time as an offering to the spirits.
Oh, look, he got something right. Oh no, he said it was an offering to the spirits. I was wrong. He got it wrong again.
It was popular for tricks or pranks to be played by humans and blamed on mischievous spirits.
Nope. Nope.
As a result of the Roman invasion, with most of the Celtic land being conquered by...
The funny part is that even if you read the Wikipedia page about Samhain, it tells you all of this is not true.
By Rome in 43 CE, the spread of Christianity and Catholicism would force pagan Celtic traditions to evolve or be completely repressed. In part, many Celtic traditions and popular pagan practices or be the spread of Christianity and Catholicism would force pagan Celtic...
The spread of Christianity and Catholicism. Oh, yes, yes. The spread of Christianity and Catholicism, which were definitely two different things in 450 BC. There was no other Christianity. Catholicism was still in communion. Catholicism and Orthodoxy were still together.
Traditions to evolve or be completely repressed. In part, many Celtic traditions and popular pagan practices were reframed to fit within a Christian narrative as a way of converting people with greater comfort and ease. Samhain would evolve into All Saints' Day, which was also referred to as All Hallows' Day, and was intended to be a day to celebrate the Christian saints and martyrs. Essentially, instead of honoring pagan gods and mischievous spirits, they now celebrated Christian figures.
So no, that what Christianization was a practice like that, but we don't have any evidence that it affected Samhain in that way.
While the sacrifices were replaced by food offerings to the poor, the tricks and pranks continued, but instead they were now attributed to the spirits of the saints. Halloween evolved as a more secular version of All Hallows' Eve.
I didn't expect BuzzFeed to get nearly anything. I expect them. Yeah, I guess I should have expected nothing.
And eventually, it would become more popular and common practice than All Saints' Day.
In America,
while Halloween has its origins in the
where we were a country founded by Protestants who didn't recognize purgatory and therefore didn't celebrate All Saints' Day, yeah, it became more popular in America.
British Isles, there's a great disparity in its popularity in former British colonies. The Puritans who came to colonize America were Protestant and did not celebrate holidays of the Catholic Church as they were believed to lead to idolatry. In the early days of the American colonies, celebrations of Halloween were mostly forbidden as they were deemed too pagan or too Catholic by the Protestant colonizers.
Now he's just assuming things.
Though elements of it began to incorporate into secular harvest-related events in the 1800s.
Yes, because of immigration, you moron. I hate BuzzFeed. I hate BuzzFeed so much. Throw the whole company away. Throw it into the ocean.
The mid-19th century saw a large influx of immigrants entering the country.
Yeah, we're BuzzFeed. We aren't going to bother to learn any facts about anything. We're just going to make a whole bunch of assumptions and then talk about it as if it's true. That is BuzzFeed on every level, whether it is culture, politics, sports, anything BuzzFeed touches, they have no clue what they're talking about.
Especially Irish immigrants who were greatly...
which is why they're bankrupt.
...impacted by the potato famine. With these people came Halloween customs out of which one of America's favorite holidays was formed.
Oh, God.
In keeping with the mischief, children would was formed.
Okay, hang on. Does this dumb motherfucker think that Halloween developed in America?
Entering the country, especially... The mid-19th century saw a large influx of immigrants entering the country. Especially Irish immigrants who were greatly impacted by the potato famine. With these people came Halloween customs out of which one of America's favorite holidays was formed.
Okay, alright, so I just misheard him.
In keeping with the mischief, children would dress in costumes and
he did recognize the immigration issue. I should have let him continue.
Be given money or fruit for... In keeping with the mischief, children would dress in costumes and be given money or fruit for artistic offerings like poetry, songs, or even jokes, instead of prayers. By the late 19th century, children were playing seemingly innocuous pranks on their small local communities. Adults would soon find incentive to dissuade children from playing pranks. Enter trick-or-treating.
Nope. Trick-or-treating comes from souling.
The 20th century would finally see the commercialization of Halloween. By the 1920s and 30s, Halloween merchandise evolved to pre-made costumes for both children and adults.
After World War II in the 1950s, the economic boom had candy manufacturers getting on the Halloween bandwagon. Movies and TV are also largely responsible for the proliferation of Halloween as a mass-market holiday.
Is that foster home for imaginary kids? Imaginary friends?
Cinemas in the 50s offered scary movie festivals. And in the 60s, the new television industry began running Halloween specials during Halloween season. By 2015, the National Retail Federation predicted spending on Halloween could reach $6.9 billion. Whether you believe that we've lost the meaning or not, Halloween has since evolved far beyond the days of pagan fire festivals. For more than a month out of the year, costume stores show up out of nowhere. Candy corn and Halloween-themed candies dominate whole aisles of grocery stores.
Oh, good God. I want to slap this guy. I know it's not his fault because he's just a narrator, but... oh boy.
Here are 10 reasons why you should never celebrate Halloween. This video was inspired by John Ramirez. You can watch his testimony in the link at the end of the video on how Jesus Christ saved his life from 25 years of practicing witchcraft. Now he lives to share his testimony and to expose the plans of the devil. Reason number 1. Halloween is the devil's holiday.
Oh, okay.
People mindlessly celebrate Halloween without realizing that this is the biggest day where witches and warlocks all around the world practice satanic ceremonies to bring a spiritual attack on the church and
yeah, that's what they're doing.
Community. Reason number 2.
If that is what they're doing, then they haven't done their homework, because that's not how that works.
Curses behind the pumpkin by the door. The pumpkin represents the demon that controls the rivers, whose name is Oshun, type of Jezebel in Santeria. Represents the reason number 2. Curses behind the pumpkin by the door.
You mean the thing that originated as a turnip across the ocean? Yeah. Jack-o'-lanterns were originally turnips. They weren't pumpkins.
The pumpkin represents the demon that controls the rivers, whose
Actually, the pumpkin the pumpkin is just simply because pumpkins are native to the Americas and not to Europe. Like,
name is Oshun.
also Oshun? What? Okay, there is a deity. Wait, do they think that I'm sorry. Wait, Oshun is a Yoruba. This is a Nigerian goddess. Do they think that Nigerian religion has to do with Halloween? Do they think all pagans are the same thing?
Type of Jezebel in Santeria.
A type of Jezebel in Santeria? Well, it looks like Oshun would be African. I mean, about Santeria. Okay, so there is an Oshun in Santeria. But is this the same? Because I don't totally recall what Santeria is. What is Santeria? Here we go. It's an Afro-Cuban religion. Okay, yeah. So it's probably because of this one. Oshun from the Yoruba probably made its way over to Cuba during the slave trade.
This pumpkin brings demons into your house when you put the pumpkin at your door on Halloween. You are given
I'm responding to this really quickly.
giving the devil an entryway into your house and family. Reason number 3. Open doors through celebrating Halloween. The devil loves it when believers celebrate Halloween and get dressed up. No matter how much you read the Bible, he loves Christians who celebrate Halloween because it brings a 4 to 5 generational curse to your family.
Oh,
he knows that the next generation
a 4 to 5 generation curse when you celebrate Halloween.
Will celebrate Halloween as a ripple effect and attach the curse to other family members.
Nope, that's not. I don't even know where they got that.
Reason number 4. Harvest is not a substitution for Halloween. Churches celebrate Halloween or harvest. You bring a curse to the church and upon the children of the church when you substitute this holiday. Why create a substitution for this demonic holiday? If you celebrate Harvest Festival, you celebrate Halloween. We feel like we must entertain people to...
This is like why Protestantism started to be a thing, was to get away from the nonsense that the Catholics were coming up with about this kind of thing. And it somehow just came full circle. The Catholics have gotten over it. They've come full circle. They don't do this anymore.
Keep them in the church or to have them come back. But we don't. We must bring the cross and God will do the rest. Reason number 5.
That's not what the Bible says.
5. The delusions behind costumes.
They spelled delusion wrong.
This is one of the biggest delusions to the church. Devil changed Adam and Eve's identity when they were in the garden. When Christians put on a costume of something they're...
What Bible are they working with?
Not. They open themselves up to a demonic attack. Your identity has changed. The devil is the biggest identity theft.
I have had to stop streaming myself from time to time to get stuff done, yet every time I come back, it seems like the vibe hasn't changed.
Tried to make Jesus question his own identity when he tempted him. In Matthew chapter 4, it says, if you're really the Son of God. Many Christians walk around without an identity to what God has called them to be. They don't know their purpose, but they sure do know how to celebrate Halloween.
And they're not Christian. What?
Reason number 6. It's the opposite of Christ. Halloween is the opposite of Resurrection Sunday. The importance we have when we celebrate Good Friday and Resurrection Sunday is the same.
Resurrection Sunday? You mean Easter?
Same type of importance to devil worshippers when they celebrate Halloween. Reason number 7.
What? That was just a... What?
Resurrection Sunday. The importance we have when we celebrate Good Friday and Resurrection Sunday is the same type of importance to devil worshippers when they celebrate Halloween.
Okay, even if that was remotely true, it would still mean that they're taking our holiday, not the other way around.
Reason number 7. November 1st is not about the saints.
That's funny because I'm pretty sure that November 1st is All Saints Day, and I'm pretty sure the Feast of All Saints is supposed to be about the saints. Now, it could be that the Feast of All Saints on All Saints Day, held by the church founded by the saints, is actually about Celtic deities, but I mean, I personally would be under the impression that it's about the saints.
The day after Halloween is Saint Day.
No, it's All Saints Day.
November 1st. They bring food offerings to dead relatives, but it is truly demonic. Reason number 8. It's betrayal to God. It says in 1 Corinthians 10:21, you cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons too. You cannot have a part in both the Lord's table and the table of demons. How can you call yourself blessed and saved while celebrating Halloween? For example, it's like saying a married couple says they love each other, but then they go off and commit adultery.
Wait, what? Huh?
And the table of the Lord, food offerings to dead relatives.
Hang on.
Reason number 7. November 1st is not about the saints. The day after Halloween is Saint Day, November 1st. They bring food offerings to dead relatives.
No! That's not, no, you... No. No, they don't. That's not part of All Saints Day. What is this church? Oh, good God, they're like a charismatic. Okay, so first of all, that's not church. That's a concert. And don't get me wrong, music can be used in church. I think that services that have a musical section and a sermon are a lot of fun. But this is... How are you gonna make this video and then this is your church? Like... This feels like a cult led by this John Ramirez guy. More than anything.
But it is truly demonic. Reason number 8. It's betrayal to God. It says in 1 Corinthians 10:21, you cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons too.
Wait. What? What version of the Bible are they using? Which Corinthians? 1 Corinthians 10:21. 1 Corinthians 10. Okay. That's the NKJV, and it looks nothing like what she said. I mean, it's definitely the same like meaning. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons. You cannot partake of the Lord's table and of the table of demons. I'm just wondering what version she's using. It's not the New International, is it? They're using the NIV. They are using the NIV.
Cannot have a part in both the Lord's table and the table of demons. How can you call yourself blessed and saved while celebrating Halloween? For example, it's like saying a married couple says they love each other, but then they go off and commit adultery.
Happy All Hallows Eve, the day before All Saints Day, the feast of the saints and martyrs that we celebrate to honor the Christians who came before us and the Lord our God. Like, how is that? That is essentially what Happy Halloween means if you're a Christian. If you're celebrating Christian Halloween, that's what you're saying here.
Reason number 9. Curses become active when Halloween begins.
Okay, well now you're just making things up.
Start when they celebrate Halloween. The whole picture of Halloween is to bow down to the devil. The biggest witchcraft is done on Halloween.
The biggest witchcraft? Do you do big witchcraft? Hey, Amanda! Did you know that they don't just have witchcraft, now they have the biggest witchcraft? Yeah, they have the biggest witchcraft. You're the biggest witchcraft? Terrifying. Oh, just the biggest witchcraft is done on Halloween. Yeah, everybody knows the biggest witchcraft is done on Halloween.
Oh, not the most witchcraft.
Not the most witchcraft, not an extraordinary amount of witchcraft.
No.
Not Halloween is, you know, the best day to do witchcraft.
The biggest witchcraft.
The biggest witchcraft.
Biggest witchcraft.
My favorite other part is the one before this. Sorry, not the one right before it.
November 1st is not about the saints. The day after Halloween is...
Where is it?
I don't know.
Here we go. The delusions. The best part?
The
It's spelled right in the chapter.
But on the screen, it's the picklelusions.
Yep, in the
dill pickle,
yep.
the pickle delusions, the delusions.
Listen, there's nothing delusional about pickles.
I
Pickles are
love
delicious.
pickles.
I know you do. We have a jar of them in the fridge constantly, and you eat them a lot. You eat pickles more often than I do, and I like pickles.
I love pickles.
Alex actually used to make fun of me for the fact that I would eat pickles out of the jar.
I'm shocked.
Well, there also is that one video of me on my Instagram. Or is it on my Instagram or is it on my Snapchat memories? There's the one video of me taking a shot of vodka and then chasing it with pickle juice.
That's definitely in your Snapchat memories.
Yeah.
I would do that.
It was actually pretty solid.
They make, you know how they make like olive juice martinis?
Yeah, that sounds disgusting to me.
but
Don't you not like olives?
That's the point! I want a pickle juice martini.
Oh, okay. So I've had a pickleback shot and liked it, so I guess I can't complain. Come on, if you're gonna stand there, at least come hang out. Come on.
He doesn't wanna.
Come on.
No, he does wanna.
He does wanna. He's just, I think, a little confused as to how. Oh no, buddy. Oh, buddy. He was struggling to get up.
That was so pathetic.
Oh, Bubba. Here.
Whoever said I hate pickles, you're on my hit list.
Look at the people. Say hi to them. One of my favorite comments on our channel was that Archie, every time he pops up, always looks so happy and comfortable. And they were like, you know, that's how he's like cared for. Like, this is a happy dog.
Oh, yeah.
What a good boy.
We love Archie in this house. He's our good puppy. And so's Ella.
I was like, oh, so you acknowledge.
I said so is Ella.
I know.
Ella's also our good puppy.
Oh. All right.
Also, really quick.
Yeah.
For those of you in the chat who I know for a fact Aiden complains about the husky to all the time, I would like to put it on the record.
No,
I would love to put it on the record first of all
that mods.
That a poll I posted with evidence on whether Ella hates Aiden or whether Ella has adopted Aiden as her dad. The overwhelming majority said that Ella has adopted Aiden as her dad. And the other night, he was talking to one of our neighbors and referred to Ella as our husky. So, no more Ella slander. We love Ella. She's our baby.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love you too.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to designing a fake resistance workout program.
Okay. I know. You're almost done. My witchcraft is huge. Oh my god. All right. What else is going on in here? It's not the size of the witchcraft. Oh boy.
Christians walk around without an identity to what God has called them to be. They don't know their purpose.
Here we go.
Whole house down. Curses start with webs on windows, buying goblins, or any other demonic each other. But then they go off and commit adultery. Reason number 9. Curses become active when Halloween begins. Curses start when they celebrate Halloween. The whole picture of Halloween is to bow down to the devil. The biggest witchcraft is done on Halloween. Coffins, bones, etc.
Yes, everybody knows that coffins and bones can only mean witchcraft. There's nothing else that coffins and bones could possibly have to do with.
Halloween is an abomination to God. When you create harvest or a Halloween party, carving pumpkins, putting up spider webs on windows, buying goblins,
or
any other demonic related...
I wish I could buy a goblin. Dude, if Spirit Halloween sold straight up goblins, I would have so much fun.
Object, you must repent. Cut off all those ties and close off those spiritual doors. Break the curses off your family and the next 3 to 4 generations in your family line in Jesus' name. Reason number 10. Halloween is a trap set up by the devil. Halloween is a poison.
I also like how most of these reasons are generally the same reason.
Believers and non-believers alike. Many people get killed, shot, and go missing on Halloween.
Okay. More people get bitten by more people drown when ice cream is sold. Higher ice cream sales correlates to higher drowning rates. Are ice cream and drowning connected? No, they're not. Crime and Halloween Also not connected. Now, are crime rates higher? Are reported crimes higher on Halloween? Yes. Are reported crimes higher on Halloween for a lot of very normal reasons? Yes. The same reasons that any other holiday is violent, has more crime. You've got people who are out of town. You've got people who are off work and have nothing better to do. You've got often, just it's a time of year when people have valuables. Like, there's a lot of reasons that crime would be higher on Halloween that have nothing to do with spiritualism.
Don't play with fire. If you play with fire, you'll burn your whole house down.
It is. This is funny. This is exactly what I was hoping for. I was hoping to find this from the Christian side, in the same way that I was hoping to find something silly from the pagan side. Like that first one. But the first one wasn't really silly in the way we wanted.
My strategy on how to deceive people. Remember, he is the father of lies. The devil kills, steals, and destroys through these types of holidays and culturally encouraged traditions. It's a trap set up. The enemy's purpose is to keep you away from the cross. 1 Corinthians 10:20 says, "Rather that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to demons and not to God. And I do not want you to have fellowship with demons." The lies and the deception may appear harmless, good, or cool.
All right, let's take a look at this guy. Yeah. I don't like any of this. Yikes. Yeah, I don't like this at all. I do not like this at all. Guy gives me bad vibes. All right, and to cap off this section, because I want to finish off the stream with some of the normal fun stuff, we're going to watch some nukes, watch some silly, spooky videos and see what we got, go through it. Or we can take a look at, whatchamacallit. I have completely forgotten to... Do you guys mind if I run an ad? Because I have not run an ad this entire stream. So I'm just going to put that in there and talk for 30 seconds about nothing, and then we'll find out if you guys come back in at the right time. Anyway, I don't really trust that John Ramirez guy at all. At all. But is what it is, I suppose. Nothing you can really do about it. I don't like this. I don't like what they're doing. At least somebody here, knows what they're saying. In other words, you'll have to deal with the fictional antagonist from our ancient fantasy and adventure books, and you get cooties if you do the following. Good boy. But yeah, so we're gonna do inspiring philosophies really quick.
Don't worry, I'll tell them. Neither Christmas or Halloween is pagan. Come at me, bro. I've already dealt with Christmas extensively in this video.
This one's
there
a
is
little
no
quiet.
evidence
Let me up it for you guys.
any major tradition associated with Christmas comes from paganism. But Halloween is right around the corner, which means everyone who gets their history from memes is about to tell us that Halloween comes from the ancient pagan Celtic festival of Samhain. The problem is we have no early sources which indicate the date of Samhain. It was probably celebrated sometime in the fall, but we're not sure on the exact date, as historian
And we're pretty positive on November 1st.
Ronald Hutton says. It must be concluded, therefore, that the medieval records furnish no evidence that 1st November was a major pan-Celtic festival.
Okay, that's not what Hutton was saying. I have read Hutton's book. I read it last week while I was working on this. Although maybe I misunderstood. But yeah, I believe that Hutton was not saying that Samhain was not celebrated on November 1st. Hutton was saying that Samhain was not a pan-Celtic festival.
According to St. Bede, September was called Holy Month, which may be indicative of certain pagan festivals that were celebrated during that time. He also says November was called Blood Month because of an annual sacrifice to the gods. But we're not given any dates on which Celtic fall festivals were observed. In all likelihood, the day on which...
I think Blood Monat actually comes from the Germans.
Celtic festivals were observed probably varied from year to year, because Bede also says they calculated their seasons according to the cycles of the moon. Halloween did not come from Samhain, it just means All Hallows Eve, which is the eve of All Saints' Day on November 1st. In the earliest centuries of Christianity, Christians in different regions had a day on which they would honor all saints or martyrs. In Celtic regions, that day was actually April 20th, not November 1st. Bede's martyrology from the 8th century
No.
does not mention that All Saints' Day was on November 1st. But by the 9th century, Christians in Germanic regions were celebrating All Saints' Day on November 1st.
Yes, but that's because of Alcuin. It seems like it did very much come from Britain.
And then it spread to the rest of Christendom from there. As the historian Ronald Hutton tells us, it had not, however, started in Ireland, where the Flare of Angus and the Martyrology of Tallow prove that the early medieval churches celebrated the Feast of All Saints upon 20 April. This makes nonsense of the notion that the November date was chosen because of Celtic influence. Rather, both Celtic Europe and Rome followed a Germanic idea.
Yeah, there were a couple of different dates. So what Mike mixed up here is what Hutton was saying, which was that Samhain and Halloween are not the same holiday, that they basically ended up on the same date from two different traditions. The Celtic regions, as well as everybody else, celebrated All Saints' Day in the spring up until the 9th century.
Over time, All Hallows' Eve became associated with the dead, and it wasn't until European traditions were blended in America that we got the modern holiday of Halloween.
And that is true.
As for Samhain, we have no evidence it was a celebration of the dead, and we're not sure on which day it occurred, although it probably occurred annually sometime in November. So Halloween is actually an entirely Christian holiday in origin, although it has been modified over the centuries.
I actually don't agree with him. You'll get the full version of why I don't agree with him in the video on Friday, but the basics are, if you look at the major things that make up Halloween, which are trick-or-treating, costumes, and jack-o'-lanterns, I think those are probably the three that we can say are Halloween. And those are the three that trace back beyond the last century. If you look at those things, so what makes Halloween Halloween? Okay, we've got costumes, trick-or-treating, the date of October 31st, November 1st, and also jack-o'-lanterns. Those are the things. Those are the big ones. Jack-o'-lanterns seem like they are probably pagan, but not in the way that you think. Costumes, what's the best way to put this? All right. Okay. Trick-or-treating is Christian. Jack-o'-lanterns are pagan. The date is both. Or at the date's a complicated subject, and the costumes are just Scottish. They seem to be neither pagan nor Christian and simply Scottish. Not shocking, because Scotland. But it seems like modern Halloween is really a kind of a mix, a melting pot, a stew of various religious and secular concepts from multiple directions.
Become something entirely other at this point.
But yeah, I've been meaning to get Mike back on the show. We've talked about it a couple of times. I'll try and get him on maybe up in the next couple of months. We just didn't connect. I have a communications director now, so that's probably gonna help. I like how he's also got an Easter's not pagan one. Yeah, but so that's kind of going through the whole Halloween issue. Now it's time for the fun stuff. Would you prefer to do nukes and some spooky video analysis, or would you prefer to look at an unsolved mystery video from Lazy Masquerade and see if we can figure out what happened? Let's see. Andrew Tall for 2 said, just joined. So glad we can super chat now. Yay. I'm also glad you can super chat now, and I appreciate the support. I do have to figure out how the hell I'm going to change this over in AdSense, because it's still connected to the same account. But I guess maybe AdSense will tell me where the money came from. I think it does tell me that, actually. But you guys... All right, let's see. God, you guys really did just kind of... I think I can... give me 1 second. Maybe I can do this way. Engage with your audience. Start a poll. Oh, here we go. What now? Nukes. Lazy Masquerade. Start poll. There we go. Now there's a poll. Let's give it like let's give it 60 seconds. I'm gonna run to the bathroom, and while I do that, you guys can decide. Okay. I am back. Who won? Where'd it go? Why does this feel lower now? That was weird. All right, so it looks like Nukes is winning. All right. Sounds good to me. And then next week we'll do Lazy Masquerade. So we'll get both. Nukes top 5. And if we have time after a Nukes video, I can open up a Lazy Masquerade video. So, I just realized that I don't always know with these ones if I've seen them before. Let's do this one. This is recent, so we probably haven't done it.
River's Edge.
Nope, we have. We have. I just looked. Let's see. Toilet viewing. We had. You'll regret watching 3 years ago. Maybe this one. Best left hidden user.
Top 5 ghosts.
Watcher.
Caught on camera. Best left hidden. TikTok user Nick Semino says that his house has always been somewhat haunted, but things recently took
So far, this does not look like one I've seen.
Turn for the worse once he discovered some old patient IDs that had been hidden in his house behind a secret door. Nick has no idea how or why the patient IDs ended up hidden in his house, but the tags date back to 1965 and are all from the Kings Park Psychiatric Hospital in Long Island, New York.
All right.
Before this hospital was shut down by the state, Kings Park Psychiatric was known for horrific patient abuse.
Basically, every single psychiatric facility was known for patient abuse.
I've laid all the cards out and we've been doing some research. You can only see them well with the flashlight, but a lot of the medications these people were taking were for schizophrenia and other disorders like that. Some were for bipolar and some were from anxiety or psychotic episodes.
Sorry,
and this
where did he find this stuff?
Discovered some old patient IDs that had been hidden haunted, but things recently took a turn for the worse when says that his house has always been somewhat haunted. But things recently took a turn for the worse once he discovered some old patient IDs that had been hidden in his house behind a secret door.
That seems odd.
Nick has no idea how or why the patient IDs ended up hidden in his house, but the tags date back to 1965 and are all from
It kind of feels like an alternate reality game so far.
the Kings Park Psychiatric Hospital in Long Island, New York. Before this hospital was shut down by the state, Kings Park Psychiatric was known for horrific
only see them well with a flashlight, but a lot of the medications these people were taking were for schizophrenia and other disorders like that. Some were for bipolar and some were from anxiety or psychotic episodes, and this is mind-blowing. These obviously are the easy ones to see.
Okay. What were they on?
And it says their department, their telephone number, all this, but these are crazy. You get the date, you get the doctor that prescribed it, when they have to take it, and what drug it was. I'm going to gather their names, their addresses, who their doctors were. I'm going to try to figure out if any of them are still alive, why these were hidden in my house. Maybe someone lived in my house that like was in the psych ward or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to research on the buildings. I'll try to get answers. Because
this does feel like it could be an alternate reality game to me.
Are you kidding me? No way. This is like an actual horror movie.
But I mean, maybe the thing to do is to reach out to the guy.
I literally think I just like summoned.
Mattis, check playback speed. Oh, it's still at 1.25. My bad.
Something. I don't want to be down here now.
That's the thing, is that's how fast I talk and think. So anytime I see somebody talking and thinking at that speed in a video, I think I'm just running at 1.25 speed at all times. So this feels normal to me.
After finding and researching the patient tags, Nick says that the haunting in his house just got more intense.
Like what? This is... Oh my god, what is going on?
I'm wondering how the hell this guy's affording that house.
The sink is on.
I mean, look, man, I'm a fairly sizable YouTuber, and I do not have a house this nice.
Hear the sink. What is going on? What is this?
Although I guess it could be this is kind of looking like it may be a frat house or something.
Hello? Stuff was literally flying downstairs.
It looks like some tall figures in the doorway.
Stuff was literally flying downstairs. Oh my god. Spirit, enough!
I feel like this has to be a frat house.
Like stuff is just being thrown from...
How can you get a video you found interesting in the playlist? Send it to me during a stream, but early in the stream. Early.
And now the TV's off. What is going on?
In this clip, Nick even manages to...
The reason I'm saying maybe it's a frat house or something is because of all the couches. It seems like there's too much seating for a single family home. Also, that just looks like a rather nice frat hallway.
Capture a bizarre shadowy figure in one of the doorways.
It's got too much
even though
nice
he
stuff
says
to
he
be a
didn't
frat house, though. Like, what is this place?
See the odd apparition while he was filming. But things get even more bizarre.
All right, yeah, definitely starting to feel like maybe frat house. Because
things get even more
that looks like a frat house kitchen.
Bizarre. Nick says that it now seems that the haunting has even followed him to his job at a local frozen yogurt shop.
Okay, guys, we were literally just about to leave my store when just started flickering again. This is the second time it's happened. My car's over there, and...
I'm shaking right now.
Okay, and her keys are in the bag.
We need to go. We need to go get my keys.
And the light turned on.
So,
okay, well,
this is a little bit more complicated to fake, but it's still possible using, here. Been meaning to set these up, but I'm not good with cutting wires and screwed up the first time. And, yeah. You could do that with these guys. What it looks like to me is that he's got light switches or light strips set up, and that somebody is just going... So here, let me see if I can show you on my phone. Actually, I think I have the Elgato control thing on here. No. Hang on. I thought I had my Elgato control station on here. Maybe not. Do I not have it downloaded? Huh. Anyway. Give me 1 second, and I will get everything else loaded back up, and I'll pull it up on my phone so you guys can see how this works. But here, I do not have Streamlabs on my second monitor. So if you look at this, this is what the control station looks like. And you just take these, and it adjusts. Come on. I can't get my finger on it, but yeah. You can just go like this, and it would change the lighting.
Okay, well, I'm gonna literally record this whole thing just so you guys can see what happened. I'm literally so fucking scared. Okay, okay, something. The bathroom light's on too.
It's all feeling a little too much like an alternate reality game.
They were not there. Like, my dad put them on the desk. Like, oh my god. We're 50 minutes past our shift because of this shit.
We closed at 10, so we need to like, it's so dark because all the light switches are over here.
Stop it. Stop it. Go.
Okay.
Go. Go.
Okay, this is what I mean. This room is over. This is.
Oh my god.
This is what we're dealing with.
Oh my god, yo, what the
I am
Nick,
unconvinced.
You do this on purpose. You fake this. No, I'm gonna be out of you, Nick.
Stop! You're literally.
The fact that she asked him if he faked it does make me wonder if he has faked stuff before and she knows about it.
Are you?
No, wait, no.
No.
He's planning to do an all-nighter in the haunted store.
We're gonna peace out for the night. Okay.
There's probably somebody just hanging out.
We're gonna peace out for the night.
Even his
It never shows him actually locking the door.
co-workers start experiencing intense supernatural encounters while working alone at the store.
Okay, that could have been any number of things. Okay. It looks like it could have been fishing wire.
Like, this is not a joke. Oh my god.
It could just be a really well done alternate reality game that he managed to get people in on. But I have a hard time with the idea that any of this could be real given the actual, like, the lore behind this stuff. I mean, why would it be haunting the frozen yogurt shop while he's not there?
And the music just stopped. Oh my god, literally no one here.
She starts saying, "Oh my god, literally no one here," before she gets to the top of the stairs. I'm not getting more convinced the longer this video goes on.
Oh my god, oh my god!
Now, I have to say, Nick Cimino's TikTok is probably the most compelling supernatural TikTok account I've ever seen. His footage shows multiple witnesses to his paranormal encounters, and the
multiple witnesses that are friends of his.
Witness reactions actually seem pretty legit.
Except, why did she get it in the frame? It seems like she very purposefully got that. Watch this.
Encounters, and the witness reactions actually
on her,
pretty
over on
legit.
that. She deliberately turns the camera towards it.
But as always, real or fake.
I'm leaning onto the side of fake, but I will reach out to the guy and see if he's willing to come on the show.
I leave it to you to decide. Nick is currently in the process of setting up a YouTube channel where he plans to show longer videos of his encounters. So head over there and subscribe. Or you can check out his TikTok at NickCimino68.
I'll give it to him, he's clever. He's putting work into it. It's well done. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just not a real ghost video in my opinion.
Watcher in the window. Over on the YouTube ghost hunting channel, The Haunted Side, lead investigator Patrick and his cameraman Jason are investigating the supposedly very haunted
Who's in here?
Ambition.
Oh, God.
Why they're using digital spirit boxes?
Jesus.
Applet.
As Patrick says, "Who's in here?" without even noticing, he picks up a small voice, almost like a child, whispering, "Me."
Who's in here?
Yeah, that's the other thing. That scream, that Coke Dreams, that dream scream was a little too quick. Like a little too fast. There was no hesitation. It moved and she screamed.
What the f? What the f?
Okay.
Footsteps right above us.
The guys hear bizarre noises from upstairs and head up to investigate. As they are checking out the upper floor, some truly creepy things are happening on the floor below.
If you walk closer to this machine right here, it'll let us know that you're there. Can you come just a little bit closer? Ooh, yeah. Did you see that?
Huh? All right.
After reviewing the footage, we could find
be
no
fake.
explainable reason that bike should have fallen over, so we decide to regroup and head back upstairs.
Upstairs EVP session.
Oh God, not EVPs. See, this is the problem I have with a lot of this stuff, is that it seems like they go out of their way to set everything up in a way that it looks like it's probably fake. Like, if I were to do a ghost hunt, there would never be an angle that you couldn't see everything. It would be a very big point for me to make sure that there is a camera angle for everything. Live, like that you can watch the feed simultaneously, and I have that on video. I know that, it's hard to do those things, but I simply would not do this. I would not go into this line of work unless I was fully prepared in the best possible way to make sure nobody could do what I'm doing right now.
Is there somebody up here with me? Whoa!
This is what I mean, see?
Whoa!
Like, there's stuff off camera.
Dude. Whoa! Up here with me?
It's very dark to the right of that thing. Where does it move
Is there
from?
somebody up
What I'm trying to figure out is where it moves from.
here with me?
Whoa. Okay, so... Alright, so it turns left. Ah, see it? I think I might. I think I might have found it. There's a shadow right here. Watch it. It looks almost like a hand moving away. It looks almost like a finger right there. And if you look at the way it turns, it really does look to me like somebody flicked this thing. Yeah. This feels like somebody flicked that. And you see it go up past where the camera is cut off and it's all dark over there. Yeah.
Whoa! Dude.
I think the Dogman with Roanoke Gaming or Roanoke Tales was like a 2027 thing.
Was that you?
No.
What the f?
Oh, yeah, he just walked... The man literally walks out from behind it. Like, look where this guy walks out from. He's right over here on the other side of the thing.
What the f?
But throughout the whole investigation...
That was weird. That's weird. What's this? And what's this? Looks to me like maybe somebody forgot to edit out all of the black they added to this frame. This does not seem to be a natural shadow to me. Look at where this shadow is, and then look at where it is over here. Once he's standing there. Hang on, let me find it. See? They added shadow and then cut him out. In fact, I think you can... Okay, it's cut there, so you can't see it as well, but...
Stairs EVP session. Is there somebody up here with me?
Yeah. Okay, let's... Alright. So it's very dark in this frame. Where it comes to rest, you can't see anything beyond my mouse point.
Dude.
Okay, still dark. He comes down... Ah, shit. I screwed up.
Whoa.
Hang on. Stops there. Okay, mouse point.
Dude. Was that you?
No.
Here we go. Mouse point. Okay, still can't see anything to the side, but this is definitely lighter over here. Let's see.
Stairs.
Dude. Whoa.
I'm trying to figure out where it is, because I know I saw it. I know I saw it change. Yeah. This is definitely more visible. More of this is much more. Okay, yeah. But what's really doing it for me, honestly, on this one, what's really making me think no, is this right here. This looks like they added shadow. That's just something in his pocket, I'm realizing now. But this right here, that's weird.
But throughout the whole investigation, there's something even more chilling going on. Something that the guys don't even realize.
I don't know what it is about that staircase, but it just doesn't feel good. What was that?
What?
Patrick catches an unexplained shadow figure looming in a doorway, as if staring out at them.
Looks like a person in a hood.
Even more bizarre,
that is a person with a cape and cowl.
They have a second camera filming inside, and as you can see, there's no one there.
But there are things floating around.
What was that?
What?
Okay. Something's floating around.
I don't think that was a shadow. It was on the other side of that.
Or is that a laser point?
But it gets even creepier. They don't realize it, but this strange dark figure seems to be watching over them throughout their investigation.
I'm gonna move the volume down like a smidgen. Just tell me when.
Okay.
When it's not feeding back. Like
Are they? Am I supposed to be seeing something
just
here?
tell me when.
Wait, what?
When it's not feeding back. Smidgen, just tell me when. When it's not feeding back like that.
What's especially creepy about this figure is it appears there and then a second later disappears from that window.
Well, yeah, because it could have just walked over to the other side.
To watch the Haunted Side's full two-part investigation of the Cleanwater Demon House, as well as their other weekly paranormal investigations,
I don't buy it.
Check out their YouTube channel. The Poltergeist Prankster. Nuke's top.
Also, why was that bike even there?
5 viewer Zay Acosta says that since he moved into his house 4 years ago, strange
that just occurred to me. Why was the bike there?
Things have been happening. He believes that his home might be haunted by a mischievous poltergeist. Now, Zay says that most of the poltergeist activity is pretty minor, like knocking things off shelves, randomly opening doors, and moving small objects.
Low.
But it seems that the presence sometimes really freaks out Zay's sons.
Sponge pudding. Sponge pudding? That sounds kind of good.
You feel like good to me or to me?
What do you say?
I say, good sponge. When I burp,
Oh!
That was kind of cute. Cute kids.
Now, often in these videos, viewers will ask, but why was the person filming to begin with?
Yeah.
Well, Zay sent me the original of this video, which is over 10 minutes long. It features him filming his sons as they joke around and eat at the kitchen table. And I have to say that it definitely does not look like any typical, quote, setup for a ghost video that I've ever seen. It looks like a legit 10-minute home movie that just happens to catch a very creepy occurrence.
Definitely.
But what do you think? Is this a poltergeist?
Definitely on the more believable side. I mean, not over the top, not bombastic. It would be easy enough to fake, but the kids' reactions were genuine, and I don't know that. I mean, you have to be a pretty shitty person to put your kids through that just for some YouTube views. Like, if you're not making money, why do it? Like, and it not to say that making money off of it would have excuse traumatizing your children, but at least it would be a reason.
Poltergeist caught on camera? Because if it's a hoax, Zay's sons definitely don't seem to be in on it.
Oh.
This also isn't the first video of that sort that we've seen. I'm trying to get a look at the other brother's face to see what he looks like. Yeah, he doesn't look happy.
Meanwhile, on TikTok.
Family vloggers exist, but usually what they're doing is harmful in a less direct and deliberate way. They're usually causing problems for their kids in ways that they're not intending to. That they probably don't realize would be an issue. That guy would have been deliberately scaring his children, which is a little different in my opinion.
User Kimberly Winchester works night shifts in a hospital. The section where Kimberly works is near the surgery rooms and not far from the hospital morgue. So it's empty most of the night. Or at least it's supposed to be.
I have been working here in a hospital.
I wish he didn't have music in the backgrounds of his videos because the music gets me copyright strikes.
For about 6 to 7 months, and I didn't believe in the ghost stories that have been going around because I'm just not superstitious like that. And basically.
Oh, also speaking of which, I got to get better about this. So my apologies, but I must insert another ad. I got to get a button that does that. I got to get an ad button. Let's see. While that ad hopefully plays for you guys. Assuming everything's working all right. I'm gonna check on something. All right, cool. Everything's still good. Yeah, the filter does not help.
I just ignored it, and then some weird stuff started happening, hearing noises and seeing things, and the craziest things I've seen and heard.
The hospital uses angle dome mirror.
I will say, I don't think that her using a filter is necessarily a disqualifying factor. Wait, why are you getting jump scared by ads if I'm saying beforehand that I'm going to hit the ad button? Does it insert the ad immediately, or does it not wait for the latency? I always assumed it waited for the latency. But maybe not. Maybe not. DVR, 360 video, live replay, one stream and stuff. Yeah, all that looks right. Lag. Okay, fair.
In the corner of each hall for safety. These mirrors reflect 90 degrees, showing you who or what is in the hallway around the corner.
Pretty sure the mirrors reflect 180 degrees, but good job, Nukes.
This is an important detail, because Kimberly and her co-workers claim that they started seeing strange things in these mirrors.
What the f? Who is standing down that hallway? Oh!
Huh? I can't see anything.
In the safety mirror, Kimberly sees the chilling reflection of a dark figure standing in the opposite hallway. But when she goes to check, nothing there.
Hey guys, it's Kimberly Winchester coming right back at you. Going to the corner where
Also, maybe her name really is Winchester, but that does raise some flags, considering a certain TV show.
I recorded the video. So basically the ghost would be like standing right up in this area, and I was recording over here. What the f?
Now, Kimberly sees the bizarre dark figure down the other hallway. Cut to another.
It's right around the corner, too.
Night, and Kimberly and a coworker see something, but this time it's not in a mirror.
Bestie and me in my haunted section. Ooh, it's scary. Okay, let's get up.
Whoa!
Dude, what the f is that, bro? Dude!
What?
Why are you...
Who the
I wonder... It does look like... It almost looks like it's her.
is that? Dude, are you shitting me? No. Are you playing a joke on me? What the f is that?
play a joke on you when I've been with
Dude, who the f is that? Oh my god, we gotta go. Dude, like, what the f is that, bro?
Starts walking towards it.
Who the f is here? Like,
Dude, what are you doing?
Dude, like, what?
Why are we actually doing this?
What?
I like how the other one's like, why are we actually doing this?
Where the f? Yo, who the f is out here? Who's f***ing doing this? Huh? Huh? Who the f? Anybody? Dude.
No one can get through there with...
Now, this could have simply been an intruder or someone roaming the hospital halls. But by far, the most chilling and bizarre clip of the alleged mirror shadow figures was captured by one of Kimberly's
So I will say, this one does, it's hard to tell, but that does kind of look like it could be just the shorter girl in the red shirt. But again, it's really hard to tell. I'm colorblind too, which doesn't help.
Clip of the alleged mirror shadow figures was captured by one of Kimberly's co-workers. Now, the shadow figures can be explained away easily.
Wait, what? I didn't see it though. I am not seeing the alleged shadow figure in this one. Oh,
Now
wait,
there's-
now I am. It's over here. It looks like somebody
Now the shadow
crawling on their stomach?
figures can be Now, the shadow figures can be explained away easily enough, or it could simply be a hoax. But I personally have absolute...
Well, it said she works the night shift, so it's probably just really late. It's probably like 3 or 4 a.m. My guess is this is probably not a major inner city hospital. This is probably a small rural hospital. This could be a research floor. There's a number of possibilities here.
Absolutely no.
I'm not making any assumptions based on the fact that all the lights are off. I really don't know. I have never spent a night in a hospital.
No idea what this thing might be. So if you have a theory, please...
Thing is, if it's a hospital where patients stay overnight, and I would assume that it is, because I don't know there are hospitals where that doesn't happen. These could be patients.
Let me know down in the comments.
Could be coworkers. You know, there's a number of possibilities.
The Pursuit. In this video, Jordanian explorers Hassan Barbar and Ahmad Salih team up to explore an abandoned house that is allegedly haunted by the spirit of a witch or female jinn. Now, this one is different from many of the videos that I've featured in that both explorers have their cameras running, so we get two views of what's happening. The ghost hunters are broadcasting each of their feeds live simultaneously on Facebook and Snapchat. So, not long into the investigation, Hassan notices something strange at the end of a hall.
I love when we get some good Arabic ghost hunting.
Hallway.
I don't think it was a Boston Dynamics dog. It looked too long.
Some dark figure seems to be peering at Hassan from around a doorway. But when he runs to investigate, there's nothing there.
I'm thinking that's because it wasn't a dark figure. Take a look at this.
Investigate, there's...
It's a shadow. It is the shadow of this, whatever this is right here. Not even remotely joking. Follow it back in slow-mo. I'm thinking that's the shadow of that thing.
Nothing there. But when his friend Ahmad turns his camera toward the same doorway that Hassan has just passed through, things get truly bizarre.
That just shows, that's just more evidence that it's just a shadow. If it disappears when you run towards it with a light. And then it's also there when your buddy walks by from far away with a light. It's gotta be a shadow.
Figure is caught on camera again, but this time it seems to be turned and watching Hassan right behind his back. Ahmad charges toward the figure.
Bismillah. Hassan? حسن انت اللي واقف هون؟ انت اللي بصور كيف انت؟ كيف؟ بس فهمني اياها كيف انت؟
I seriously prefer this Hassan to the American one.
هاي بصور يا بني ادم في واحد كان اسود بسود هون واقف شو مالك؟ مش حدا والله ما في حدا يا احمد يا زلمه والله العظيم كان في حدا اسود بسود والله انا كنت جوا هسه طلعت لما ناديت عليك قعدت انادي عليك يا اخوان المتابعين معي بربكم ما في كان واحد اسود واقف هون محل حسن.
The mysterious dark shape disappears again, and Ahmad seems
I'm really thinking shadow.
A bit angry, as if he might think that his fellow explorer Hassan is pulling a prank on him.
والله العظيم كان في حدا اسود بسود.
How do you translate an Arabic word directly into bro?
والله انا كنت جوا هسه طلعت لما ناديت عليك قعدت انادي عليك يا اخوان المتابعين معي بربكم ما في كان واحد اسود واقف هون محل حسن.
As they continue to explore, the strange black mass seems to be following them.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. That's not a shadow. That is not a shadow.
الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بك من
Could just be somebody in a burqa, but be kind of weird.
بسم الله الرحمن. ايش في؟ لا. شو في؟ دقيقة.
Now they believe this dark shape might be the witch or female jinn who haunts the house. However, they just can't seem to catch up with the figure. But maybe they don't really want to.
Oh, this is right out of Blair Witch. That's creepy as hell.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. شو مالك؟ بسم الله من شر ما خلق. بسم الله اخواني واحد بلاحظ ايش وراي. بسم الله الرحمن.
Man, the way it pops up there feels really weird. Like, it almost feels edited, but again, this was a live stream, so.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. شو مالك؟ بسم الله.
And I will say, it does seem like a legitimate fear response.
بسم الله. إيش في؟ بسم الله. شو في؟ أحمد.
Hassan notices in his camera feed that someone or something seems to be following right behind him, and he doesn't want any part of it. He gets out of there as quickly as he can.
Well, so no, here's the reason that I said is Nukes definitely cut this up. From what I understand, these guys were recording this live.
Seemingly on the verge of tears. The two explorers end their investigation shortly after this encounter. So, did Jordanian ghost hunters Hassan Barbar and Ahmad Salih catch a witch or a jinn on camera? Or
I understand that. I think they were live streaming it. So it can't be. If this was all on the live stream, they couldn't have edited it together, you know? Let's see.
Is it all just an elaborate hoax?
I'll admit, this one's a little more on the compelling side for me.
You decide. Thanks for watching.
All right, that's all of those. I do want to read, there are a couple more super chats in there. What'd they say? Kellen said, I say bored nurses being legally married to one. And Dark Wolf said, I work night shifts in a hospital, sanitation. All our wings have patients that stay overnight, so the only wings that are empty are employee only, and even then they aren't truly empty. Yeah, it definitely was a little odd to me how empty that hospital was, but I can't think of a way to fake that. You know? But looks like the rabbit lady from Spyro. Yeah, I mean, it definitely looked pretty authentic. I don't know. The Arabic ones, more often than not, really do get me, where I'm like, maybe. But that does bring us to about the end of the stream. I just don't have time to run another video. So, yeah, you can live stream a pre-recorded video. I just don't know what you can do. Can you do it on Snapchat? You know? I'll look into it. I just found that one interesting. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. It's really exciting to have the channel finally be monetized. You know, I will look into more ways that I can have some fun with it, that I definitely, for the live streams, I will not run ads during them. If you get here during the show, you'll get it without ads. If you watch a replay, you'll probably have ads, is the way this will most likely go. But, you know, yeah, that's the stream. I will be back on Thursday night for sure, and definitely Friday, possibly later. It might be at 8. That'll be for the Civ stream, though. I will try to get that one started at 7. But I was asked to do an open mic down the street, so I might do that instead and start a little bit after. But yeah, that'll be probably 8 o'clock p.m. start time, or we'll do it Saturday instead if I can. I might not be able to do Saturday, but yeah, that's where we're at. And thank you guys for hanging out, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.